right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Sunday night. And Sunday is football day, right? Sunday is
Right.
football day, right? It is football
Correct.
day.
Monday Night Football.
And today we are talking football.
Sunday Night Football.
It is Sunday night football here in the end of July. Actually, regular football's starting up pretty soon. They're
Yeah.
already at the camps and
Yeah.
stuff, I saw. But I would like to say that if you saw the little thumbnail that I posted, yes, hell has frozen over.
Mm-hmm.
And we joked about this. It was a conspiracy theory, but it has come true that this is the soccer talk here on Digital to Dice. So anyway, joining me, some familiar faces over here on my left. Ryan, thank you for coming by, Ryan.
Thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here.
And down below me over here, he's been on here many times. No
Yeah.
introduction needed for Gilles Thibault. Thank you for coming by.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Dave, for having us.
All right, and we might have one or two more jumping in later on. We'll have to see how the night goes, but right now it's going to be the three of us. So we will be playing what the 4-3-3 formation here. Is that what we're doing?
I like the defensive formation, that 4-5-1.
Really? Yeah, you
Yeah.
like that lockdown D.
Yeah, it makes the games go fast too.
I think we're more of a 4-3-3 with three strikers, and we're the three strikers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it a forward? Is it is a striker a forward or a
Yeah.
midfielder or a?
Striker's
They're the
the
same
forward.
thing.
Yeah.
Striker, forward.
Yeah, I'm getting used to all this stuff here. You know, and you guys can help me learn some soccer as we get on the show tonight. Barbara comes by, and Brent comes by as well. Tim stopping by from New Jersey. The Duffer Man swooping in. And from Vancouver, you know, I have a Vancouver soccer team now, so we might have to get that
Yeah.
on the table for you. I opened that. Yep, I opened that the other night.
Yeah.
MLS. Philip comes by as well. Oh, Andy, if you suck me into a soccer co-op, let me let me tell you, you know, if I have to go buy a season to be in one of your co-ops, I don't know.
They have leagues too.
We are ready for some football. Here's someone with no soccer knowledge whatsoever, and he tends to re-roll his dice when he's not happy. Ray, good to see you, Ray. We call him Re-Roll Ray. That's a good
How's it
name
going,
for him. Scott comes by. Good to see you, Scott. Alan comes by. Thank you for coming by, Alan. Highlight Heyday. Yeah, I saw your comment today. He was making some comments on the videos. Good to see that. Good to see you back here. Got to go with the 4-4-2.
I think he's a neighbor of mine. I think he lives in Pittsburgh, Highlight Heyday.
Oh, he does.
Confirmed that. Yeah, I think he's a neighbor. But
Nice.
I don't
Big,
know, but I think he's in Pittsburgh.
Big Pablo coming by and pitch invasion. Yes, I was talking about Ryan's game and I knew it was pitch. I couldn't think of the name. I thought it was on the pitch, but pitch invasion is called. So I'm gonna have to see that when we get together in May. You know, hopefully you'll be coming back up in May.
For sure.
Ben says I call this football. Yep. And, Tiger Bob, boy, I've been watching a lot of Tiger Bob.
Yeah,
Anybody
he's good.
go to subscribe to Tiger Bob
Yeah.
Sports? He's been playing golf and soccer and I don't know. I think he might have played some football too, baseball for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of his stuff. And it's been really good. I go between like late at night. I'll listen to him and Randy
Yeah.
because they play some of the sports that I like to play.
Bob has nice setups. He has nice table setups.
Yeah, I like how he has the little glass and he
Yeah,
shakes the
yeah,
glass. It's like a
yeah.
little whiskey glass, you know. You'll never look back. Oh, I'm already looking back. back. Highlight Heyday comes by.
Yeah, see, Pittsburgh. See?
Pittsburgh, it was.
Yep.
It was, yeah. Oh, no, here he is, the man, the myth, the
He's the
ID.
man.
All these chats about soccer driving me crazy. Let it go. We don't care about soccer for another 4 years. Now, Tebow, you went down and hung out with ID, huh?
Yeah, it was a fantastic time. The guy's as great as he is on TV, is in person. So we went to our wives and I. We all met up at we were at a Siesta Key in Florida on the golf, which I think was like 20 minutes from his house. And he found out I was going. He's like, I'm going to be like 20 minutes from you. So he met us, and it
Nice.
was great. We had a blast. We had a dinner together, chatted, wives chatted. And,
Did you happen to see his second house that's full of all his games? The mansion that's full of all the games? He has to have a mansion down there because every day he's opening a new game.
I know we were talking about that. Or the wives are complaining about the packages we get in the mail constantly. So it
I
was
know
a good time.
sometimes you got to run out and like meet the mailman and just be like, stuff it under your shirt and come into the house. What come
Yeah,
in? Ah, nothing. Just the mailman. Just some bills.
yeah,
Or
Run
at the
that's it.
soccer
downstairs.
game, you could kick your package inside the house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I just got a new razor. I got a new razor. You know. Phil comes by. Good to see my buddy Phil on here. Yeah, my man
Mhm.
Ryan's on here. Ryan and
What's
Tebow
up?
joining me tonight. So here's how all this happened. Okay, so Ryan and I sat down last year at D2D 2025, and he was showing me the soccer, and I don't know if he had the fast action cards with him at the time. I don't
Mhm.
remember that. But then we did like a Zoom meeting thing, and he was showing me how to play, and I was like, okay, so I was getting more interested, and then finally we tried to sit down at D2D this year, and
Mhm.
ironically,
Yeah.
that was the game that I actually had my stroke at.
Mm,
And I remember looking at him saying, Ryan, I can't see you.
no
And he's
way.
looking at me. I was like, yeah, Ryan, there's a problem here. So
Wow.
I went to bed. I thought it was a migraine. And I've already told that story there. But so that was the game that did it. So when I got it, I was a little, little
Mhm.
spooked here. I'm kind of hoping
Mhm.
this game's not cursing me, in any means. But it did
Yeah.
not. I played it and I had a great time and the whole bit. So I've been looking at it for a while, and
Mhm.
then I actually sat and I watched a little bit of the World Cup. I watched
Mhm.
the extra time of the finals. I said I was sitting
Mhm.
down, nothing going on. I said, something, I'll watch it.
Right.
It was interesting, And again, I've seen soccer in the past, and we have
Mhm.
the New England Revolution here. I've never gone to a
Right.
game. I thought about going to a game because they play at
Yeah.
Gillette where the
What?
Patriots
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
So I
Yep.
mean, it might be a fun time to go to one of those, especially now that I'm kind of into the game.
Yeah.
So I know about soccer. I've seen it play, but I didn't know about the formations, and I didn't
Mhm.
know about some of the other things that happen. So very casual soccer fan. But when I went onto the website, it was I think it was like $35 for the game.
Yeah. It's not that expensive.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
and then I grabbed some World Cup teams,
Mhm.
and I says, so I was like, perfect. I'll grab it and play it. So it come in.
Mhm.
I was actually excited to get it because it's different for me.
Mhm.
And I started playing it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so easy. Now
Yeah.
again, there's a few things that when I read rule books, I like to know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it like all the APA games, it assumes a lot of things.
Right.
Like the hockey was the worst. I think the hockey's the one that
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
so many questions. But
It's a lot harder. Yeah.
I figured it out, and then I figured it out here in the soccer game. But for the most part, like it plays pretty smooth. It's pretty fun. It's
Mhm.
pretty easy.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow, I think I really like this game. I really do.
Mhm.
So that's kind of how the purchase happened. Okay. Let me see here. One more thing here. Oh, so okay, I just want to get that ID. Says that was great meeting Tebow. Yep, good
Yep.
to see him. And Dwayne
It was
comes
great
by.
meeting you.
Another big.
Yeah.
Dwayne is playing hockey and football now,
I
along with his
know. I saw
baseball.
that.
So yeah, so great. Yeah, Barbara says glad I pushed through. Yeah, I was never going to give up. Okay, I was never going to give up on the APA soccer, but I'd like to know, on a throw in. I've seen some
Right.
guys play it different ways. You were playing it's a loose ball, someone else wasn't, and so it's like, well, which is it? And no one could really give me an answer because there's no answer in the book. It doesn't really
Mhm.
clarify it. You can assume things,
Yeah.
or infer, if you will.
Right.
But I'd like to one more sentence to say, check the control chart or check the
Right.
loose ball chart.
Right. Right.
That's
Right.
all I would need,
Yeah.
So I started coming up with my own way of doing it, and then after talking to Al yesterday, I just posted the podcast, by the way, the audio version just went up before I did this tonight. And we did a lot of talk about instructions and rules and a little bit of APA soccer talk. But he was like, Dave, in soccer when they do this, it's mostly to this guy, and then when they do this, that's when it's the jump ball. So I'm still kind of juggling which way I want to go with it. It's not wrecking the game by any means. By any
Right.
means, it's kind of like when I played payoff pitch. It's like, how do I want to handle it? Do I want to roll the dice? Do I want to flip the card? Do I want to use
Right.
advanced running,
Right.
basic running? And once I settled on a system,
Mhm.
it's great.
Yep.
And I think a lot of the soccer
Yeah.
games are actually like that, in that like they're kind of harder to break the game in than some of the other sports.
Yeah, ID's
Well,
being a
Sorry,
funny
Ryan.
guy. I can
just
I can joke about
he's
it
having fun
now.
at your expense, but That's
I
ID Jester.
No.
He has a great sense of humor.
there's no falling and flopping in soccer. I didn't see any. No, I did. I'm sorry,
You weren't
Ryan. You were
flopping.
saying?
You weren't
No,
flopping,
I just
David.
think that sorry, Giles, with like you mentioned like breaking the game engine, and with like the loose ball check, and I think that soccer compared to like football or baseball, for example, or probably even hockey, it's like a little bit hard to break the game engine. It's just kind of a simpler sport, so um, yeah, I mean with that, like as long as you're playing the same way for both teams, then that should be good.
That's a
Yep.
good point too.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as I do it consistently,
Fair. Right.
I think that goes for any homebrew. If you're going to
Yeah.
homebrew the game, as long as you're consistent for both teams,
Hmm.
then you're not going to sway the game.
Hmm.
Either way. So yeah. So I ended up getting, like I said, the World Cup set two or whatever it was, the greatest World Cup sets, because it wasn't that expensive. It was like $28 or something like that. So I said
Hmm.
this would be good. I'll have a few teams to play aside from the four that come with it. Worst case, if I hate it, then I can either give it away because it's brand new, or I can
Right.
sell it or whatever. But I didn't. I really liked it, and I thought it was really fun. And I went back and I was watching. I was trying to remember the stuff that Ryan was telling me, and I was watching the Tebow videos and the Tiger Bob, and Earl had some videos, and a couple other guys. Not many, but there's a couple other guys
Right.
that had some. And I kind of like was trying to like get a census of how you guys were playing it. You know what I mean? And then just kind of took it from there. So it was really, really, fun watching all these videos, and some were
Right.
very old and some were pretty new. And then it was kind of funny that when I started playing it and enjoying it, how many people said they were buying it,
Right.
or pulling it back out, or I got to get this season here. And someone actually said that the World Cup, the greatest set two, was out of stock, and that's the one that I had.
Oh, really?
And they're like, I wonder if it's out of stock because Dave got it and everybody had a run on it. And then I actually did. I don't want to spoil too much, but I did pick up a World Cup set, like the full set, and that's now out of stock. 'Cause as soon as I
Yeah.
said I got it, it's like, oh, geez. So everything I bought is now out of stock. So I did get lucky. Although I will say that the last order I placed is going to be here next week. I ordered it in the morning and it had shipped at night. It was like that fast. I
wow.
was like, yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
so that was kind of cool,
Yeah.
And Phil says soccer is just hockey for the summer with a bit more drama.
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe.
Like, can I come on to talk soccer and I have two hockey teams represented?
Yeah, what's that? The
You know,
Thrashers
digital
up there?
adults after all.
Yeah,
Flyers, Thrashers.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. Well, like Cutter said, it's always what you choose. You just got to choose and have some fun. That's the big thing, is just go and have some fun with it. So, all right. So, well, let me ask you guys here. So, you guys are the soccer guys, okay? Why soccer? I'll start with you, Ryan. Okay, you were the one that had the soccer game, and you were telling me about it, and so why soccer? Why should I like soccer?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there's a few reasons, and overall, it's just soccer is kind of called like the beautiful game, and there's a certain simplicity to it that I think is reflected on the tabletop. So, like for one, like subs. Like if you're playing hockey, which is probably the most similar sport to soccer, like you're gonna be shuffling lines or at least like moving through your lines, and you're having to switch out like power play lines. And the soccer, you don't really have any of that. You're just have your 11 guys on the field, and of course you can sub. In modern soccer, it's up to five players out throughout a game now, but you can only do that over the course of three substitution windows. So basically, you're not like juggling cards as much.
Mm.
That's one reason, and also like with stats, like keeping stats. I mean, you could track like turnovers and completed passes, but unlike a real soccer game, which is going to have like 400 or 500 passes per team, a tabletop game like you've talked about, Dave, you don't want necessarily to see every single pass in a hockey game,
Mm.
and it's the same thing in soccer. So the that simplicity with less subs, less um, stat keeping, it's a lower scoring game. There's almost less strategy than other sports like APA soccer. You just pick your formation and go. So kind of the combination of all these things just makes it a really smooth gameplay experience. And because it's a low scoring sport, it kind of gives the underdog team more of a chance than maybe like a basketball tabletop game or something. So yeah, there's I kind of rattled off a lot there, but those are a few things that come to mind at first.
So those are some good ones there. When can you sub in the game?
So different games handle that differently.
But in generally in soccer,
Yeah,
if I'm watching a soccer
okay,
game, like
sure.
Isn't
So
it
when the
based on
ball
like
goes out of
league?
bounds,
Yeah. No, sorry.
no, you're good.
but I mean, it's just like
Um,
certain times of the game, like at the 10-minute mark, at the 30-minute mark, or is it just whenever you want?
you can sub whenever you want as long as the ball is like the play is stopped. So it's a dead ball and the either out of bounds or a foul happened, then you if the ref permits it, you can make a sub.
So it's like basketball, kind of.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, but I mean, if I wanted to sub 5 minutes in, I could.
Yep.
Okay. Now, can that guy go back in, or is he done for the game like baseball?
It's like baseball. He's done for the game.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Um, Now, when a player in APA soccer, so when it says like a corner kick to B, and then you
Mhm.
flip for the ID. Let's just say it stays with the offensive team, and you flip, and it's the same guy to kick the corner kick. Can I assume that he played it in, and then they passing the ball back?
Yeah, I treat that like hockey almost. Like how that comes up in hockey
Hmm.
sometimes. That's how I would treat that. Because they're 30-second segments. There's like 30 seconds on an X.
Yeah,
So there's a lot can happen in 30 seconds. So that's how I
yeah,
look at that.
yeah. Sometimes in hockey, it's like the left defense gets it, and next thing you know, it's back to the left defense, and you're like, well,
Hmm.
I'm thinking that something happened, and it came back to
Right,
him.
right,
Okay,
right.
okay, fair enough. Tebow, why should I play soccer?
It has that APA magic. You talking about APA soccer or just soccer in general, all the
But we'll
games?
say both. We'll say
Well,
both.
I would say, a lot of the games are good, but I'm as happy soccer's a long play game, in a sense, because you can get some really intense games if it's close at the end, and then you could act. One cool thing about soccer over hockey is you see that marker go down the field, like where you can see you're progressing, getting closer to A, closer to getting the. And if it's like late in the game, it is like tense. You're like, oh
Mm,
man, this team's got it down low, and what are they going to do? They're close to the net, and are they going to get a shot roll or not? So you get that app of magic. You get that like that feeling of like you're watching like a good game on TV, and it's on your tabletop. And that's why we buy these games. I think is so we can have that experience and get that sport like excitement at the end, and you'll get that in this game, and it's fantastic.
hmm. Hmm.
Um, as far
Um.
as myself, as far as against soccer, I was like you, Dave. I liked watching the World Cup every 4 years, and that was good. I was fine with that. I started refereeing. My daughter was playing soccer when she was young, and I refereed a little bit. Just I learned a rule. I knew nothing at all about the direct kicks, goal
Yeah.
kicks, outlets, and all this stuff. But when you ref and you help like the team out, you learn a lot about that stuff. Like the other referees will tell me, "Oh, well, this is the goal. This is what you got to do." And I learned it, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." Then you're watching your kids play or whatever, and like, okay, they're like, so you kind of learn the game a little bit, and I thought it was
Nice.
fun. So
Nice. If you're the referee and you have those flags, can you whack players with the flags?
yeah, I always wanted to give out yellow cards and red cards and stuff
If you know when it
they,
goes out of bounds and they raise the flag and someone
yeah,
comes by, just give them a whack.
I was low man on the totem pole, so I was always just the side judge guy with the flag, But and I wanted to give the yellow cards out, but no, that's only like the referee. He's like,
Oh.
oh, I couldn't. Someday I want to give the red cards out.
I would like just like kind of start sliding it out and look at the guy
Yeah,
and see what he does, and if he backs off, I'll like put it back in.
I think it's funny because they have like the pen and stuff and everything. They're like writing
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
in the middle of the game. I love soccer for like all the reasons I think Americans hate it. Like, and I'm an American myself, but one of the funnest things I thought about soccer is like how they do the flopping. Like, I think the flopping is hilarious, and people hate it, but I think it's like they get barely nicked, and they're like, ah,
Yeah.
like I think it's
Literally,
awesome.
every minute someone was on the ground that when I was watching. I
Yeah.
only watched it for like 10 or 15 minutes, and I counted like 30 guys that hit the ground, and they all got up and they were fine.
Yeah, and they get up and they're fine. They first look at, am I going to get the foul? Am I going to get the foul? Oh no, then I'm going to get up and run. I think
It
that's
is.
one of the fun things in soccer, though.
Oh man,
I know people hate it for that, but I think it's entertaining myself.
it is. I guess it's part of
Theater.
it. It's
Yeah.
part of it.
It's just like drama, theater. Just like the anticipation of, are they going to give a red card, a yellow card, just a foul? They're just trying to
Yeah.
maximize the chances.
Mm.
But
Right.
coming from hockey, it's a little bit off-putting.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, Justin says I jumped in as well. Package arrives tomorrow night. Just what I need. Another game to add to the list. Let me know how you like it, Justin. Seriously, and I know Al was talking about getting it. In fact, on the show yesterday that I just posted, so you'll listen to it. I don't know if it was on the show or after the show. Al was like, I'm thinking about getting Apple Soccer because I watch you play it, and I was looking about getting it, but I might get the hockey. I'm not sure, and I actually suggested that I would go with the soccer first.
Mhm.
I says I think you
Yeah.
would like the soccer more, Al. The
Basic,
hockey has a lot
yeah.
more questions. And it's good. Don't get me wrong. APA hockey's like right up there at the top of my list of my hockey games. But the soccer, I think, would be a little bit easier, and I think you'd have more fun with it, at least initially.
Mhm.
So yeah, I recommended that over the hockey.
Absolutely.
Joshua says I did some reading over the World Cup, learned that until the '60s there was no subs, just 11 dudes out there. How
Yeah.
about that? The Big Red Machine says it's a good article on ESPN ranking the World Cups. Interesting. Oh, we lost Ryan. We'll bring him back. There's Ryan. He's back.
Hey, sorry about that.
That's okay. Sports Time says soccer rules. You're allowed to. Oh, we lost Sports Time Machine. I'm not sure what happened. Oh, I did see that. Jeff posted that Keith sent him a soccer blast to bring to Canton. So there's going to be a lot of soccer at the Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That's what it
football. Hey, it's the
Yeah, football's
all day.
football, right?
Football.
You're allowed to substitute 5 per game, no re-entry once, plus 1 extra period of
There you
overtime.
go.
Okay. Oh boy, yeah. Flop this. You're uninvited. Yep.
I love it.
And Peter Griffin in his knee. Yep. Oh, I have Dice United, Miroslav. I have it. And I've played it, and it's okay. Maybe I should go back and play it again. I don't have the second one. I only have the first one. But I do have it. I did play a game, and it was fine. It was fine. It was a lot like Stone Cold Hockey, in that feel. So it was fine, Yeah, I know, Raymond. Right? You've heard it all, right? This is AI Dave. AI Dave. Yeah, I recommended soccer over hockey. Well, again, just talking to Al. Just talking to Al, I recommended soccer, APA soccer over APA hockey. And I would tell him to get both, at some point there. But I says I think the soccer is the way to go for right now, after just playing them both. Yeah, I would love to see some nasal seasons in APA soccer.
Yeah, people ask for that a lot with the the New Jersey Dynamos or whatever. New York.
Yeah, and was it the Cosmos? And,
Cosmos, that's it. Cosmos.
And Pele was over there, I think, for a while. And I wonder if they have a run on some sales and some seasons that maybe it might trigger something over there.
Was that
people,
indoor NASL? I forget. Was that outdoor? Is that indoor or outdoor?
I was outdoor, I think.
It was outdoor, yeah. But
Played
some of the NASL teams fielded an indoor team also because the indoor game was really popular in the 80s.
Yeah, that Pittsburgh had Pittsburgh Spirit, I remember. And that was popular. I remember they used to play in the Civic Arena where the Penguins played. It was pretty wild.
Right?
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
nice. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you would need a big place to play, or at least a
Yeah.
big field, I know, but I was like, where did Dave go? Where did Dave go? He's talking about soccer, Oh, man, right? And Gus comes by. Good to see you, Gus. He was the Cosmos and the Rochester fan,
Cosmos.
says Gus. Yeah, a fan of the American and Canadian fans. We're in a wasteland when North American soccer folded. Yeah. I remember that I had that for the Intellivision. NASL soccer. We called it nasal soccer. When my brother used to get a kick, nasal soccer, Well, we played it on the Intellivision. It is what it was in 1979. The MISL is indoor. Yes, yes, it is. I
Yeah,
wonder if there's a way that well, probably not. That if you could if someone would make a set of MISL cards, if you could adapt it for Apple. But I mean,
yeah, why not?
with the
Yeah,
boards and stuff, you'd have to kind of probably come up with some new charts or something like that.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, Scott, hang on, Scott. Next thing I'll be gonna be playing rugby and cricket. Scott, I think you've had a little too much pineapple on your pizza tonight. So
Scott went to Canton. He was there at one time. Remember? After
yeah,
Scott
yes,
grew
he
up,
was.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He was at play, and
Hmm.
he was playing some Apple hockey at play when I was out there. ASG had an MISL game. Interesting. I might have to check that out,
Wow, I'll have
guys.
to look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna write that down. ASG and MISL. That might be kind of fun to check
Yeah.
out. Alrighty, so here's a couple more things for you guys. The extra time in soccer.
Yeah.
That's one thing that always messed me up. In fact, I remember when I was playing Dice United, it was talking about the extra time, and I was all messed up with it. And I know it happens, and it's in every game.
Hmm.
Tebow, how is that calculated? So, like when they're playing the game and you see the
No.
90 come up on a scoreboard, and then it keeps on going. I mean, how? I mean, do the players know how much time's left? Is it a mystery? I
I
mean,
thought I was just reading it right when you called. I don't know if they spelled out too well in the rules. Like I don't think they. It's
no. In Apple
yeah.
Soccer, it just said there's certain charts and certain plays that'll tell you to add extra time on. Aside from that, somebody suggested it was like 30 seconds a foul or a minute a
Right.
goal to tack on some time. I just didn't know Ryan, do you know in the real like actual soccer when you watch
Yeah.
it being played, how do they calculate the time and do the players know it, or is it just the one official that knows it?
So it's just the official. I'm pretty sure that tracks it, and there's actually a fourth official. There's the main ref, the two guys on the sidelines, the sideline judges that call offsides, and then there's a
Mhm.
fourth official who kind of helps the substitutions and tracking that stoppage time. And really, it's just a combination of like every time there's a sub, every time there's a goal scored, an injury. Those are going to be the main three things that kind of trigger additional stoppage time. And it is just an estimation to an extent. Um, but like for Pitch Invasion, which is the soccer board game that I created, it does spell out like every time there's a goal at 30 seconds, every time there's a sub at 30 seconds, and then you just kind of tally that amount and then get your stoppage time.
Okay. Someone did suggest that. Oh, some people were playing a replay of that season. And when I play it, I add cards for subs and injuries. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't say. It's very gray area on the rules. I'm looking at it. It just says you can add a time, but it doesn't give you specifics like what to like add a minute for this or 30 seconds for that. It
Yeah,
just says some of the results. Yeah.
I don't know if it was Tiger Bob or someone else said that they roll a 1 to 6, and that's how many minutes they add.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of what it is.
Yeah.
I don't keep track of a ton of stats, but I keep track of shots on net, shots on goal, and then the fouls.
Hmm.
And I separate it by halves too, so I know how many shots you had in the first set. Now, what's weird about soccer? Well, let's get the ID's comment here. They usually add 20 to 30 seconds per flop. If you roll
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
ground for 20 seconds or more, there's an additional 30 seconds. So is there like a hang time on that when you're rolling around on the ground? Oh,
And then for this World Cup, they actually had to they incorporated hydration breaks,
oh
which are
really?
basically just a way for FIFA to make more money by having commercials, because like some of the games were played in dome stadiums that are indoors, so
Oh wow.
a controlled climate and didn't really need the hydration break, but they made a rule that every game had a 3 minutes hydration break in each half. So that was kind of unique to the World Cup. Um, but really, when you think about soccer, like that, like the fact that there's no commercials, that like just generally speaking, like when you watch a football game, I mean, every other possession and every other minute there's a commercial. But
Hmm.
with soccer, you just sit down, 45 minutes. You know that you're not going to be interrupted by a commercial unless it's the World Cup, of course, and they have the hydration breaks. But you can kind of estimate that the game will be done within 2 hours, and
Mhm.
something about that, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, Christopher says they had hydration breaks in 2022 in Qatar.
You did that extra time real nice, Dave, on one of your games recently. You added like 4 minutes at the end. I thought that was kind of cool because I'd never done it because the rules weren't real clear about how to do it, so I never actually even added it. But yeah, that one game you had, you played like I'm gonna add like 4 minutes or something. You said I was like,
Well,
that's
I
pretty
think I
cool.
added up the goals and the
Yeah,
fouls
yeah,
and basically divided by two. So if I had,
uh huh,
between goal, if I had 8 goals between fouls and goals added up to 8, I cut it in half for 4 minutes. And that seemed about right.
it seemed realistic ways you did it. I was like, oh, that sounds pretty
Yeah.
cool.
And in
Yeah.
fact, so some of my first impressions of the game, if you heard me talk about this, was my very first game I got. So I got it. I read the instructions. I was watching your video and I was watching some other videos. So I had a pretty good idea on what to do, and it went pretty well. I kicked off, and I think I kicked off to D.
Hmm.
Got my control. Guy got it in D, and I rolled either an 11 or 66. It was a shot. Okay, we're taking an immediate shot from D, right?
Hmm.
Roll the dice. It's in range.
Oh, there you go.
Roll the dice on the goalie card. 10 goal. 1 minute in, just two chicks. 30 seconds, 30 seconds. And I'm like, wow. I go, am I playing this right? Because I
Yeah,
got a
right.
goal. On the first shot, the first
Yeah,
anything in the game.
it
And
all went right for you.
I look back and I said, I think I got it. I think I did it correctly.
Hmm.
And then my next goal was a 50. It was a special play.
Hmm.
And it says, team steals the ball, goes the other way. A crossing pass in front is headed in to the net for an own goal by the defense. So I think I was playing with Brazil against West, whatever it was. I was playing against the Soviets, and the Soviets hit it into their own net for an own goal, and it was 2-0. So I had a goal in the first minute, and then my next goal was an own goal, and I was like, well, this is not quite as boring as I thought it was going to be. It was
Yeah.
kind of fun. I did play one of my games was 0-0 at the half. And that's the only game I played thus far that's
Hmm.
been 0-0 at the half. So I was expecting not to see any goals at all. And I've been getting goals. In fact, I was playing a game, it was Italy and France from the greatest set. So I think it was 90 Italy and 82 France.
Hmm.
3-1 Italy, who was the better team, had the
Yeah,
better team
yeah.
rating. And France scores at 89 minutes to make it 3-2.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what are the chances they can come back, right? Well, what happens is France goes down in extra time, 4 minutes into extra time, and somebody scores to tie it. And I was
That's
like,
awesome.
this game, I really thought it was going to be a boring game. And so I played 3 games, and so far they've all been pretty unique. And I've had some great finishes, and I've been extremely lucky in that. And speaking of great finishes, oh my gosh, it is Mr. Soccer himself. We got Mr.
Oh,
Oh, he's even got the hat.
oh, okay.
Oh, he's got the shirt.
Oh,
Don't show us the
represent.
underwear. Don't show us the underwear.
I feel old with all these
Okay.
youngsters, Dave.
Got West Ham underwear on.
Well, toilet paper actually, but no, that's safe for Tottenham if we're being honest.
Okay, we can get in that.
So Marco is here. He is a soccer guy, and again, it's
I
kind of like you 3 guys here were the guys that kind of like, Dave, try the soccer, try the soccer. It's like, oh, come on, don't make me. And
Soccer was
yeah, and I got it, and it's the Appa soccer has been quite enjoyable. Do you have or have you played the Appa soccer, Marco?
It's been ages and ages. You inspired me. It seems like a common theme. I rebought it. I don't
See?
know what it got lost in a move. Something happened. I'm a Soccer Blast guy, Dice United. I was eyeballing Appa Soccer for 5 years, and finally, I'm like, just buy the damn game. You know you're gonna play it. So it'll be here tomorrow.
Oh,
So
there you
Really
go.
I'm
nice.
it'll be here tomorrow. I'm excited to give it a go again. My team Arsenal had their best season not of my life, but of the past 20 years. So I'm buying Arsenal everything. I've already got the Soccer Blast set because they won the league. I got the Champions League set for Appa Soccer. They unfortunately lost in the final, but it's a good Arsenal team to play with. So, and Dave, Arsenal is a football team that plays in North London in the UK. Probably a good analogy might be. I was going to say Maple Leafs, but that's not quite right. They were a dominant team for 15 years, and then they have been very not dominant for 20 years, and they finally won a championship this past season.
Okay, I knew they were over there somewhere. I wasn't sure where. It was kind of funny. So when I did the unboxing the other night, I says, "Oh, look, I have some Appa hockey that Ryan sent me, right?" And it's like, "Oh, look, it's Appa hockey." And then all of a sudden, it was like, "Nope, not Appa." Not Appa hockey, and there's no DC for hockey there. So he sent me the MLS 2019 MLS, 24 teams on there. Of course, I went right for the lousy teams, Vancouver and Cincinnati. So we'll get those on there. Joshua, you're going to get some Vancouver on the channel here. It's just not going to be a very good Vancouver soccer team. But yeah, it's very enjoyable. It's easy to play. I gotta say, the couple things what I like about the Appa Soccer is the setup's really easy. Mm-hmm. It really is because you get, at least in those sets that I had, obviously you get your 11. You might have 6 or 7 other guys, 2 or 3 goalies maybe. So there's not a ton of guys in the team to choose from, which is nice actually.
Yeah.
And if you go to Baseball Reference, Football Reference, there's a soccer page on that. I don't know if it's called Soccer Reference or not. And so I went there, and I was going to some of the World Cup games, and I was trying to see, like, the teams that I had, and it was telling me, like, who played. It would say, here's the starting lineup, and here's who subbed in. So, perfect. I pull out my starting lineup, and I could play the as-played lineup. The only thing that was kind of weird was if they were playing 4-3-3, sometimes I'd have 4 forwards instead of 3. Just because that's what the lineup said. So I pulled out the names, and it just so happened, kind of like if you, in hockey, you had like 3 defensemen in hockey instead of 2, because that's who, someone will obviously playing on the wing or whatever. But I just put them out there, and I like, Tebow did a good job with the score sheet set up as far as you put everybody by offense, and then, you rank your fouls and your fouls given and taken or whatever, and that gives you an idea too on that. So that was kind of fun. But the setup is fast, especially if you just want to throw the forwards and the mid strikers out there and the defense out there. You can set up a game in a minute. The score sheet takes a little bit of time to set up, and it's recommended that you do the score sheet. But with the MLS, I went to the MLS site there, or the on the Soccer Reference, and I clicked on games, and it shows you the starting lineups for each team. In fact, I think it even shows you the formation, but there's a lot of weird formations, like a 4-3-2-2 or something like. So I just kind of estimate. Usually I just bring everybody back one, and usually it's 4-3-3 or whatever it is. But so hopefully, the formations, if I get the wrong formation, I won't wreck anything. But
no, it shouldn't. I guess the best way to think about it, and Ryan, I know you're a big soccer head as well, so correct me if I'm wrong, but a really good way to think about it, maybe this isn't the best example for Dave, because I know you're not a big basketball guy either, but like, think of it like, okay, in the modern NBA, you have someone who is a forward, but he can actually play guard, and he can actually play a little bit of center too, right?
Yeah,
So I would think of soccer the same way, where, if they're running whatever 4-3-2-1, let's just pull whatever out of the hat. What they're really saying is one guy is your designated like striker, he's your scorer, but these other guys in these 2 and 3, they can play forward, they mostly play mid, or maybe they're trying to get out on the wings and they're trying to create space and create scoring opportunities for that striker. So in other words, I'm getting a little bit too in the weeds, but basically think of forwards that can also play mids, just like in basketball. He could play guard, he can also play forward, he can also get down and rebound if he had to. Same thing in soccer. It's very rare. Maybe in the modern game you have more like true blue strikers, but it's rare in soccer to have players that can do one thing.
Okay.
They could do like they're very, very versatile. Like I would argue Messi is a better passer than he is a scorer. And you think of him as a striker because he scores a lot of goals. But his ability to create space, his ability to distribute the ball is probably better than his scoring ability. So he would theoretically be a midfielder in theory, but he's not. He's a true forward. You know, that's another way of thinking about that formation issue that you were having is if you can get close enough to what Appa tells you, the 4-4-2 or 4-3-3, you're kind of there. The game will do the rest.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I've been kind of kicking around with that. I haven't sweated that out too much, even though it's like when I go there, if it says, 4-4-2, it's like, boom, that's what I'm going to use. And I get as close as I can just because I'm not sure what they did. But, somebody brought up a good point about, some of the bad teams were using the 4-5-1 because they just wanted to get a tie and they were okay with a tie, things like that. So, this was for you, Ryan. Adirondack Gus. Ryan, do you ever use constant infringement for yellows? I don't know what that means. Maybe you can help me out.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask Gus about that. I noticed that comment. If you could just kind of expand on that, Gus. Also, I wanted to ask Gus about if you're in the Dave, you might want to join this, the APA Soccer Premier League. So there's an APA Soccer like draft league that I actually started initially in 2016, and then it fell apart after like 2 years. We restarted in 2021. Jack Dolan had a lot of great help with that, and I left the league after like a year or two, but it's still running. So I think Gus mentioned that he's in that league, and I was just curious if that's the case.
Okay. Well, he can let us know on that.
And if he has another space, I would be interested.
I think is it John Cochran in that league, Ryan? You remember?
Yeah, John was in the league
Yeah.
for a bit.
John
Yeah.
John was that guy. He has that video from Canton, Dave. He was talking about Appa Soccer. I don't know if you saw that one. He was at the Canton
Yes.
thing.
Yeah, I
He's
seen
the-
two
yeah,
that
he's
were
a-
there. He was the tester, he said, right?
Yeah. He
Yeah.
was the big he's in the Hall of Fame, also Appa Hall
Oh,
of
good.
Fame. And he knows a ton about soccer. He's like Appa's like soccer Hall of Famer guy. So knows a ton about it. So I
Yeah.
remember he was talking about that draft, Ryan, whenever we got a
Mhm.
baseball tournament. So that soccer draft you guys had.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun.
Nice.
So content infringement is when a player gets quite a few fouls and the ref has had it. Okay. So on the tabletop, I personally don't do that, but that is a really good thought, actually. Something to kind of.
Yeah, I had a game here where De Napoli in Italy had 4 fouls in one game, so I guess that's what he's talking about, right? When you keep getting the
Yeah.
fouls and things like that, And Gus says he's in that league, been there a few years. Would love to add some folks,
Beautiful.
and he will give you the info. He'll give you the info. Another thing about Apasoc, aside from the setup being real easy, the fast action cards are beautiful in this game.
Yeah.
I would say they don't do everything. You still need to go to the charts for defense, and I think if you want to play the ball into like on the star when you want to play it to somebody you want, there's a
Pass, yeah,
chart. That pass chart's not on there, and also the main charts are not on there. But everything else, as far as the player ID numbers on there, I love that.
Yeah.
That way you know who's got the is going to get the fouls or who's going to take the corner kick and things like that. I love the fact that it's got like the zones for all the throw-ins and direct kicks and all that other stuff there. That saves a ton of time. I mean, just the quick flip off the kickoff. Who's going to get it? Okay, roll on the guy's card. Then you go back to the flips. If you need to go to the charts for the formation chart to see what he does, great. Then you go over here. The fast action cards are phenomenal. And I was talking to someone. It's like, man, I wonder if they could do that for hockey, but I don't know how they would do that for hockey because there's just a lot more rolling in hockey as far as and reading off the cards and I just don't know if it would work for hockey. But the fast action. So someone said it comes with a fast action deck. Okay. In fact, in the rule book, it said you get one fast action deck. I didn't get one. But I did order the double pack, so I do have 2 here. Then I just ordered 2 more, so I have 4 decks. But I didn't get one in the game, so I don't know if that's changed or not.
Yeah, I don't,
Awesome.
yeah. I don't think
Let
I
me
got
look at
one.
my order summary. I'll let you know right now.
Yeah,
Something interesting about the fast action cards for Appa Soccer is that at first they didn't have those, and then it was actually
Yeah.
a fan creation.
Right.
So there was this guy named Paul Dillon who had a really
Yeah.
awesome website and blog and magazine called One for Five.
Yeah, I
Uh,
remember that guy. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
he made the Appa Soccer fast action cards, and the company incorporated them into the game once
Wow.
he posted them. So I think that's a kind of cool piece of history.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That.
that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of rolls. If you don't use that fast action card deck, it's a lot of rolls. Like, and it's you got to really enjoy rolling dice if you don't use a fast
Yeah.
action card.
I'll be honest with you guys.
Yeah.
I dug out Appa Hockey for the first time in a long time earlier this week. I quit after a period and a half because I'm like, I don't remember rolling dice this much. Maybe
Oh
I've
yeah.
just been playing
Yeah.
other games with less die rolls, but oh
Yeah.
my God, I'm like, okay, it's on target. Okay, did he save it? Okay, it was deflected. Where does it go? And I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
would rather play Hockey Blast. It's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just too much. It's too
Yeah.
much.
My way around that, Marco, is Keith has created a couple of Excel helpers, one for Hockey Bones and one for Apple Hockey. And again, you got to like the helpers. Some people don't want to be on the computer at all. And what it does, he has it set up, and it's got like 9 dice rolls. Right, and,
All
and
right.
so you click on the image of a die, and it rolls everything. It tells you who wins the face-off. Right, it gives you like the main dice roll, and then you can rename any dice rolls you want. So I have like shot. I have shot 1, save 1, shot 2, save 2, the rebound. I get the penalty. It's almost all there. So it saves you from rolling and rolling and rolling. So you click on it. Okay, 61. I go to Ray Bork's card. 6. Okay. What is the roll? The roll's going to be this. Okay, it's going to be a shot on goal. What's a shot on goal? It's a 52. It's out of range. What's the goalie save? And you just look at the screen and follow along, and it gets you everything right there. And when you score, it gives you a simulated time. So it's not always 18 minutes, 17:30. It'll say like 17:32. It's beautiful. It keeps track of your penalties on it. So you just hit power play and it counts down the line shifts on the power play. It suggests what lines you need. But the dice roll is the big thing, especially in Hockey Bones.
Yeah.
Hockey Bones is because it's 20 seconds instead of 30.
Yeah.
It's like I got tendonitis from playing Hockey Bones. So now when I use the Excel spreadsheet, it lists every possible roll on a play. Hockey Bones is a little different than Appa. So there's only so many outcomes. Like in Appa, you can get rebound after rebound after rebound, which is the exciting part of Appa Hockey. Is that shot save Esposito, shot save Esposito. It bounces back over here. Can he score? No, Tony Esposito with another save, and that's the excitement of that. With Hockey Bones, you get 1 rebound, so you get shot 1, save 1, shot 2, save 2. But like all the dice rolls are there. So when I started doing that, Ryan keeps dropping off here. When I started doing that, it made the game go much faster, and it was less rolling the dice. So yeah. So I use the helpers for those 2 games there. I really do. But you're right. There's a ton of dice rolls in those games.
Not to get too far off topic, but there was a game for years I resisted, which was net result soccer. For that reason, it was just chucking dice, and then someone is working on and I feel like such a jerk because they let me play test it, and I'm blanking on their name. Jesus
It
Christ, I'm
might have
sorry.
been Keith. It might have been Keith.
Well, Keith
Oh, he has a soccer game on.
is like the champion of you're talking about Keith Wright, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's like the champion of net result soccer. Like he's been making
Okay.
seasons on
He
his
created
own.
an Excel version of it. I think it was.
He did, but there is also a module that someone is building that is about to be released that I know in our hobby there's that debate of, helper versus taking stats by hand and this and that, but the module completely changed how I feel about that game because the first couple times I played it, I'm like, I know this is a good game, but I don't want to chuck dice for 2 hours. Like, I know that's like the antithesis of our hobby, but it really is like,
But too
okay,
much
who's
is too
got
Yeah.
much.
it?
Yeah.
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 Right. But this helper, it's like, oh, it does everything for you now. So this game's actually pretty great.
Yeah, that's like the help is like the Apple Hockey one is I get, I don't know, 8 or 9, maybe 10 dice rolls on the screen. And
Oh
again, you
yeah.
can label
That's
them
nice.
what you want. You can change the label. So I have one for assist, one for penalty. So when I hit the button, I don't roll any dice anymore. I just look at the screen. And if you need more dice rolls, you can hit a no time roll, and it just re-rolls everything and keeps the time the same. So, and it even keeps the time for you too. So you can see the clock counting down 30 seconds at a time. It keeps your shots on net. It keeps your shots in range, because I like to, at the end of the game, not only do I like to see my shots, how many are in range? How many potential goals did they have? How many saves at the goal? Like great saves, But yeah, I think you're right about that, about the dice rolling. But the fast action cards, getting back to where we were in the soccer, oh my God, it saves you. I mean, it cuts. I mean, I was playing a half in like 45 minutes, and I've only played a couple of games. So I can only imagine I'm going to get faster, and then once I get the system down. We got to put up PJ here. PJ, I confess to watching Marco's Soccer Blast video before this. The dark side is calling me.
Come to the dark side.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I haven't done assists yet. That's the one thing I haven't done yet in the game, but probably because I'm still kind of learning it. But I will get back to that. Gus says that he's been a soccer ref since '98, and when on the tabletop a player gets a 5th foul, I write them up. So
I love it.
Yep.
That's
so
a good idea.
He likes to write them up, is what he likes to do. Oh no, Andy comes by. Good to see you, Andy. He's here. And PJ says, Andy Lewis Flipper is a must for hockey bones in Apple Hockey. Oh, there's another good one there. Yep. Otherwise, hands cramp. Yeah. No joke. You're probably, in a game of hockey bones, you can roll about 200 times. That's a lot of dice rolling. That's a lot of dice rolling. It really is. And don't get me wrong, I love the game. I'm not talking bad about the game, but so when I got that helper, I'm like, oh my gosh, because like picking up the dice and dropping it, my shoulder.
Yeah.
I mean, after doing that for an hour or two,
everything.
that just anything, especially at our age,
Yeah.
Oh man. And Miroslav says the facts in Appa Soccer is good. I recommend 3 sets. Okay, I'm gonna have 4 here. So Fenner comes by. Good to see you, Mr. Fenner. I'm a little behind in the chat here. And here's like Christopher. Get Soccer Blast, PJ. Get Soccer Blast, oh no, I take no responsibility for my videos. You want to buy a soccer game now? Yeah, it's been great. So the fast action cards almost a must to have. It really does. It not only does it save you dice rolls, it's so fast. It really does a nice job.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys: is it extra time or is it injury time? What's the proper term for the extra time?
Injury time, if it's the first, what is it? The first, after the first half of the second half, I think it's technically called injury time. Extra time is overtime, if you will. That's the extra 30-minute period.
Okay.
But so, not to get super technical, but like that also depends where you're playing. So, for example, in the Premier League, and I think almost every domestic league, when that 90 minutes plus injury time is up, the game is over. We're not going to OT. So that's how you get all the draws. Where the extra time comes in is in tournament play. So you'll only see that in knockout rounds. The MLS is a little bit different, although even in the MLS, the regular season is still can end in a draw. So you do not play extra time in the MLS.
Really? Okay, so I didn't know that. Okay.
When I say, I have to be very careful. When I say extra time, I mean 30 minutes, not the added injury time of 5, 6, 7, whatever, however many minutes are added at the end of each half.
It's not sudden death either, too. They have to play the whole thing. Like they don't stop it if someone scores. It's like you got to play the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. So in MLS, I play the 90 minutes. 45 in the first half, and any extra time for injuries, but no extra periods after the 90 minutes, right?
Unless you're playing a knockout game, that's correct. So like unless you're playing like this is think of it like a playoff game. Unless you're playing a playoff game, like this is it. If we're still, we call it level. If we're still level after 90 minutes, it's a draw. You're done. Game's over.
What's that thing, Marca, they do in Europe, or where it's like you have to play like 2 games and like what's the score? It's like the combined score of like the 2 games.
Aggregate.
What do they call it? Aggregate. Yeah, I think that's kind of cool about soccer. Is like the other sports don't have stuff like that, which I think is cool.
Which is what not to get
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
on a whole tangent, like, because I wanted to throw a question back at you guys, but that is why I fell in love with the sport of soccer to begin with. Is first of all, it was cultural for me. Grew up in an Italian family. When Italy was on, whether it was the Euro Cup or the World Cup, it was an event. Like
Mhm.
we were at Nono and Nona's house. The game was on every TV. One of my favorite athletes growing up was probably only Ryan's ever heard of him is Francesco Totti. That's it. You
Poti,
know,
yeah.
who was a striker on the Italian national team, played his whole career in Roma. He's a legend.
Imagine,
But
yeah.
what made me fall in love with the game is actually I think because I was listening a little bit. I think Tebow, you said this. You like soccer for all the reasons most Americans hate it. It's
Right.
like
Right.
I don't like. Hey, I actually got in an argument with my dad over this. So when the World Cup was going on, he's like, "I don't get it. They just make up time. They just make up time at the end. I don't understand." I go, "Right, but when you watch an NFL game, they're standing around for 20 minutes, whether you realize it or not. Whereas in soccer, it's like, hey, you
Mhm.
idiots were standing around. I'm going to add this at the end of the game. You're still going to play. You're still going to play.
Yeah.
You're going to play as
Yeah.
much time as we think you wasted."
But see that makes
Um,
sense because like when I see goals scored and they go off on these half-hour celebrations, I'm like, if I'm the losing
Right.
team, I'm like, come on, let's go, hurry up. But I guess if that's part of the added time, then okay, I'm not in a hurry.
Right. And I've seen teams score goals that way too, where the other team's celebrating and the other team's like, "Give me the ball. Let's go.
Yeah,
Hurry up.
yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Come on." Oh, they're not in formation. I don't care. Let's go. They'll get in formation real quick.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
there's a bit of an honor code there, but
Yeah.
you know, but what I was going to throw back at you guys is so Dave, you are now you resisted soccer for as long as I've known you, and I get this a lot, and I'm sure Ryan has, and I'm sure Tebow has too. Soccer's dumb. You're in America. It's a European sport. It's the world sport, first of all. But I think the problem is we have been conditioned to not, as Americans, we've been conditioned to not like soccer. But if we actually give the game a chance,
Hmm.
it is I'm not going to say it's perfect, but it is called the beautiful game for a reason. It is a beautiful game. It
Oh
is,
yeah.
it's an amazing game to watch. I think besides baseball, it translates the best of any sports on the tabletop. It's one of those games where a 0-0 draw can legitimately be as entertaining as a
Yeah.
4-4 game.
Yeah. It's exciting.
All right, I,
You know,
I,
I
I will I
yeah.
will add to that 1 second there, but I don't get too far behind in the chat. Tiger Bob, I ain't afraid of no dice. Yeah, he rolls everything there, and Tiger Bob has hands of steel. A beer league man likes the Thrasher hat, Ryan. So you're getting some new fans over here. Chad writes in. He says stoppage time is a common name there are 2 to 8 extra minutes each half,
Yeah.
also called injury time. Okay, so stoppage or injury time. So extra period would be the overtime period, so to speak. Okay. Would you guys play EPHL season or the World Cup teams? Yeah, why don't we say Ryan? How about you? Would you play EPL or World Cup?
So I personally like to play both. I think they're both really good options. There's the co-op that Andy Sexton's running, and that is like EPL, and then Andy's also running a World Cup co-op, I believe. So they're both great options, and for Pitch Invasion, which again is the game that I've created, we actually just got done with creating our World National Soccer set, and so that'll have 48 national teams, and it's going to go on sale this week. So look out for that on our website at pitchinvasiongames.com.
Very cool. Very cool. Tebow, how about you? EPL or World Cup?
I like both. They're the same players pretty much, but
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
it's
Okay.
I like that Champions League, which I think is pretty cool. It's like
Yeah.
the best of the best, like in Europe, and because you'll get like teams from like England playing teams from Italy, and I think the Champions League is where it's at. That's like the NFL of
Right.
soccer.
So do I have to now look into this EPL season if I want to get involved in a co-op? I don't know if I can place
Yeah.
any more Apple orders this week, but
Yeah,
Right.
EPL. they rank the leagues. They're all the top. They're the top level leagues. They just put so
Yeah.
much money in it. MLS, I think for talent wise, I mean that's like way below those guys. But
Way down
hopefully
there,
they get there
unfortunately.
somewhere. Yeah.
That's all right. That's all
But
right.
we got Messi. We got Messi in Miami.
That's right. That's
so,
right. You got Mark
yeah.
Messier. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, Marco. How about you? EPL or World Cup?
EPL is the easy answer. I mean, I'm Arsenal, everything. They play in the EPL. But my problem with the World Cup, and this may sound sacrilegious as an American, but I just mentioned I grew up, an Italian soccer fan. Italy has been so bad for the they've missed 3 World Cups in a row. So there's not a World Cup set that I want to play. And even the last time they made it in 2014, they were terrible. 4 years before that, they were very mediocre. 4 years before that, they won the World Cup. But nobody's made a 2006 World Cup set. So Ryan, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I would, yeah. So I'm EPL all the way. I'm a huge Arsenal fan, and not to keep rambling, Dave, but the one and only game I ever made it to in England for an Arsenal game was a 0-0 draw against Sunderland, and it was amazing. The
Interesting.
atmosphere. It was.
Yeah.
I'll say this, and I'll get off my soapbox. I also think the only sport that comes close, 2 things that come close is Montreal Canadian home games, and you can make the case for a lot of college football games or stadiums or atmospheres. What they're doing overseas at soccer stadiums, America can't touch it.
Oh yeah, it's an
Yeah.
event.
We can't touch it.
It's an event. It is.
That's another reason I love soccer too. The people are so into it. I mean,
Chanting the whole time
chanting,
and,
singing. Yeah.
And I heard that they don't even have alcohol at these things.
Well,
No, in Europe they
not at
no,
all.
it's true actually. In Europe they
No,
don't let them
you guys
bring
are
it in.
joking. They really don't. There was,
Really?
yeah. Go ahead, Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah, like so I've been lucky enough to go to a few soccer games in Europe, Germany, Italy,
Oh wow.
England, Ireland. So when I was at this game, and yeah, so a lot of the stadiums, like I went to a West Ham game, it was the last year at their old stadium of like 100 years, and I had a beer
Yeah.
with me, and like the guy was like, "You can't bring that back to your seat." I
Oh,
was like,
really?
"What do you mean?" Yeah,
Yep.
so yeah, it's interesting, like, but to kind of echoing the point that you guys just made, the passion in soccer is something that really
Oh my
draws me
God.
to it. Also, I went to a West Ham game for my first time in 2007, and that's how I fell in love with soccer. Just the amount of passion, like all the passion for the sports team in your local town is going to one team. You're not splitting up between 4 or 5 different leagues.
Mm.
So there's something about that. And I think Marco, you mentioned like the localized nature of like your small town even has a team. I think
Yeah.
that component of soccer is all really cool.
Well, think of it like this, guys. The best for those who don't, or maybe don't follow the sport closely. Think of it. Imagine, because this really is how it is. I'm using England as an example. Wherever you grew up, okay. Uh, think of your local town. I'm not talking like I live in the suburbs of Chicago. I'm not talking about Chicago. I'm talking about the little suburb that I live in has a football team. And I use the word football. It's just part of my vernacular. Like football. When I say football, I mean soccer. Okay. You have your soccer team. That is your team most of the time, especially at the lower tiers. They're getting players that you grew up with, that you know, and then how this happens over the course of 100 years. Those teams start in lower tiers, and if they win, they move up, and if they win, they move up, and it's a pyramid. So when I talk about the Premier League, that is the best 20 teams in England. That pyramid is, I think, what, Ryan, like 15 levels. So in theory, the 4 of us on this call could find 8 other of our buddies, go move to England, start a team, and in 50 years, we'll all be dead, but in 50 years, we could theoretically move our team up the ladder and go play in the EPL. So just think of it. Your local high school football team could move up the ladder and eventually play in the NFL.
That's
That is
interesting. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
soccer.
Wow. I would want to get PJet. I would want to get PJet. So you say so they sell alcohol, but you just can't bring it back to your seat? Well, they
No,
don't
and a
sell
lot of
alcohol.
that stems from the Hillsborough disaster that happened in 88, Ryan, 89, something like that,
89,
90
yeah.
maybe.
Yeah,
Um,
there was.
Was
Go
that the
ahead.
fire? Was that the fire?
No, well, there was a fire. That was a different disaster. But the Hillsborough, there's a really sad, but there's a really good, well done 30 for 30 on it. But basically, so how it used to be is when you would walk into the certain sections of the stadiums wouldn't have seats. It would literally just be a block of concrete. And they would pack as many fans as they possibly could into these somebody was joking on one of the something I was listening to in our hobby recently that is, I think it was you, Dave. Is that where you put them in pens, right? They literally used to put people in pens where they would section them off. But what ended up happening, I think it was an FA Cup semifinal in Liverpool. I think my facts are correct. Again, very tragic event. They packed, let's say the pen could hold 50 people. They put 300 people in there.
Holy cow!
And 90 people died. They were
That's
trampled to death.
terrible.
So ever since then, there are extremely strict rules across Europe that you can't have alcohol because there's a problem. They call them ultras or hooligans. So they got hooliganism out of the sport for the most part. You got the rowdy drunkenness out of the sport for the most part. Every stadium has to have seats. So you got one person in the stadium, you need one seat. No, there's no standing room only. We're not doing this. So there were all because of all these changes now. Right, to Ryan's point, like, yeah, you can't go get tanked at an Arsenal game. You can get tanked before and after, but there are so many laws in place now that to prevent things like Hillsborough from ever happening again.
Interesting. I did not know that. Hey, speaking of devil, ears were ringing. Keith Wright coming by. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for all your help, by the way. Every time I'll send him an email. Hey, can you do this to the spreadsheet? Can you add that to the spreadsheet? So he has modified that sheet so much for me for the 2 games I got. Fantastic job, Keith. And yeah, the stuff he's got going with his soccer is really good too. Let's see here. 2-legged matches allow each team to get a home game. Aggregate score for the 2 matches wins. Interesting. Christopher says he plays a little bit of both World Cup teams and EPL. I call it the EPHL because everything is HL for me, right? Everything's HL. You know? Marco, there's always that term of being in shape, but being in soccer shape. That guys are incredible. Yeah, they just run, right?
Yep.
Unbelievable. PJ said he went to a New York Arrows championship game in the late 70s on a whim. Really enjoyed it, but didn't become a steady fan. You know, I wonder if they played some Rush at that game if PJ would have been a fan of soccer. You know what I mean? Larry comes by. I really enjoy Dice United 2. I have one. I might have to look into it. I'm looking into Soccer Blast. I'm looking into Dice United 2. I'm going to look into a few more games in time. Let's, you know, I can't get too much soccer going here. I mean, I don't want to overload myself, you know, like a machine, you know, and Miroslav says loves the
podcast.
loves the Premier League. Yep, there you go. There we go. Christopher said, I went to a number of Pittsburgh Spirit games in the early 80s, and Tebow was talking about that.
Yeah.
Saw them play the Arrows, the Cleveland Force, and the Baltimore Blast. Oh, the Cosmos, too. Oh, in San Diego. Look at all these teams. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And here we go. All right. Oh, so Larry says, I recently ordered Soccer Blast. Soccer has found its way onto his table. Good to see. Good to see. Yes, that is nice. Good to see. Yep. I got a couple more notes here, but we'll get to some of the comments here. I think one of the best aspects of soccer on the table is the fact that 75% of the game comes down to the last 15 minutes or so, or within a goal and close. There's drama on my table. I would say, yeah, that you're not going to get a ton of goals in soccer, so the games are going to be close. I know when I was playing my games on the table, I had a 2-goal lead at the 81-minute mark, and the team came back. They got the goal at 89 minutes, and then the one in stoppage time, I guess we'll call it, right? I need to get that right because I want to make sure it's right. And they scored at the 94-minute mark to tie it. That was France. I was like, holy cow! I thought it was over 2 goals with 8-9 minutes left. Ain't gonna happen, and they did, and it just. you roll the dice and they get that shot on net. And there was one guy that took a shot from zone F, way downtown. I think when you subtract 5 from it, and it was in range, and the goalie had to make the save. And I forget if he scored or not, but it was just you could picture that. It's okay, this guy's had enough. He's putting it on the net no matter where it is. And then you go and you watch soccer highlights, you see guys scoring from the half court or half field or whatever, and it happens. So again, it really kind of feels like, at least with APA soccer, that all the things that can happen in a soccer game kind of happen in the game here. It really does. Just everything kind of happens. The long shots, the short shots, the guys missing the net and things like that. Everything kind of rolls pretty well in this game. It really does. Andy says, I have played with and owned Pitch Invasion. Big shout out to Ryan.
Andy.
And national teams would be great. Okay, Barbara says, have fun with the soccer game here. Greg comes by. Good to see you. Keep the APA soccer videos coming. I will. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for saying that. They help me learn. Now, that's good. I haven't done a tutorial yet, or I call them informational videos because I don't want to get yelled at for tutorial videos. His set should arrive this week. Another one. Nice. Andy Sexton hosts Great English Premier Co-op. See, now I find out about it. So now I have to order that. Well, it depends how far along they are. If they're late in the season, I'm not going to go and go.
The season's over. Yeah. I mean, I don't know about the co-op, but yeah, I would wait for the 25, 26. Yeah.
Yep. And Keith says, got a shout out to his Net Results Soccer. It's a free 20 leagues, 100 sets, very easy to play. Yep, we were talking about that. All righty. So, Tebow, you said you're going to jump out here?
Yeah, I got to go pick up my daughter at work. So.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for coming by and talking soccer.
See you guys. I'm going to listen in the car on the way out. I want to hear the rest of this. So
all right. But thank you for coming by, and thank you for everything, Tebow.
Thank you. See you guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take it easy, Tebow.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
All righty. So, Tim in New Jersey says, relegation is my favorite part of European soccer.
We need to bring that to the U.S. I'm just saying, don't let me on my soapbox. I will not shut up about this.
Two-legged matches of the past use aggregate with visiting goals counting much more than home goals to break ties. Yep. Oh, that's interesting too. When we do things like that with our hockey, it's goals against is the tiebreaker, because the idea being that you could just pull the goalie and just score goals, but you'd give up a ton of goals too. So the idea is that, the less goals you give up, the best. So it avoids that just going all out and not playing any defense if you need to win a game, so that you will be punished for that.
Makes sense.
Teams run way more than in the past, but teams in the past seem to have more talent. I don't know about that, but it might. Tim says 49 Sports has a soccer game coming out. Yeah, Grant's got one coming out. Yep. Christopher also went to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, USL.
I gotta, Chris, how is the U? I've never seen a game. I hear nothing but good things about the USL. For those who don't know, it's basically minor league MLS.
Okay, so it's like a
and
double A.
What's interesting about the USL is they're actually starting with promotion relegation between their 3 levels of USL starting next season. Yeah, so Mark, you might have a chance to become commissioner of MLS or
that's pretty cool.
You've given me a career idea.
Yeah, there you go. Tim, I've been following Tim's. He's been commenting on the soccer videos and helped me out. I played an APA game earlier, Brentford versus Tottenham 2023, and Brentford scored in the first minute. Okay, so I don't feel so bad. I always like my first impression of a game, and my like I say, my very first game that a minute in, the first play was a goal. And I was like, whoa, that's kind of a weird way to start here. But, okay, it's almost like you're playing your first baseball game and the leadoff man homers, You're like, oh, what a way to get into the game here. But it can happen. Okay, yeah, here's a good one. I will say, what is relegation?
Relegation.
All right.
Kind of like what Marco described before, like if we wanted to form our own team and work our way up through promotion. So promotion is like the other side of the coin of relegation. And it allows for like the movement between the leagues. So at the top level league, it would be like if in Major League Baseball, the bottom 3 teams went to AAA and the top 3 teams in AAA baseball went to Major League Baseball in the following season. So it's kind of foreign to our leagues, but maybe not in the future.
There's a hockey league in Europe that does the same thing. I think it was hockey, and one year it was a big deal that the team dropped into the
Yeah.
bottom tier, and they lost all their funding and all their sponsors. I think it was a hockey, maybe it was soccer, but I think it was a hockey team, and I don't remember if it was in Russia or if it was somewhere in Europe in the Czechoslovakia. But I heard, and I didn't know about it. And someone's like, "Yeah, did you hear about this team that for the first time in 50 years they dropped down a tier and they lost all their sponsors and all, and basically the team is dissolved just by dropping one
Yep.
level down."
Yeah, there's I guess I will get on my soapbox, but I'll keep it brief.
All right, should I give you the main stage here? All right, there's your soapbox.
No, this isn't necessary, Dave. No, so basically, and someone made the joke. Inspector says relegation is what should happen to the New York Jets. I agree. So I think this is for me the single best thing that makes soccer great globally because like I described earlier, yes, you can come up and that's how you move up through the leagues. But one thing that drives me up a wall in every American sport to some extent does this. If you're the worst team in the league, you get the first pick in the draft.
Okay.
And everywhere else in the world, if you're one of the 3 worst teams in the league, we kick you out. Goodbye.
Yeah.
See you later. Get out of our league. Come back when you have a better team. It forces owners to spend money. It forces teams to constantly stay better. There's no such thing as tanking. So like here's this year Tottenham and West Ham got sent down. So I feel bad. I wanted Tottenham to go down, but the story all year was Tottenham was riding the razor's edge all year long, and it looked like they were going to get relegated. Well, why is that a big deal? Because Tottenham was a top 6 team in the EPL for what, Ryan? 20 years? 30 years?
Yeah, about
They,
that.
yeah, they were. Imagine not quite the same comparison, but imagine the Dallas Cowboys getting kicked out of the NFL. It's kind of what it was. And they were close. It came down to the final game of the season that they ended up staying up. But if they would have gotten sent down, you're talking about a team that just built a $2 billion stadium like 4 years ago.
Wow.
They had, I think, a top 20 salary expenditure of any team in the world. Now, all of a sudden, if you get sent down, you lose all the EPL TV revenue. You are, instead of hosting these guys, Arsenal or West Ham or Chelsea or Man United, instead of hosting them every Sunday, you're hosting, Tumbleweed City from, some little town in Northern Europe or Northern England or whatever. So you're not getting the fans to come out. It is so damaging to get sent down. And I love that because it forces teams to stay good. There is no let's tank and get a better player. No. Go spend your money. Go buy a player so you don't have to get kicked out of the league.
Do they have Tumbleweed City carded by chance? I want to play Tumbleweed City. You know me. Well, a couple questions here. One is, so a team drops down. Could they just like say, okay, we lost this, let's kick some ass this year, and then we're going to wipe everybody out in this division because we're that good, and then move back up? I mean, could that happen?
100%. And it happens frequently, but it also happens just as frequently that they end up staying there. Sunderland was the team that I saw in Arsenal. The one time I saw Arsenal play, the one game I ever went to, they played Sunderland. Sunderland was, I don't know, like what's a constantly mediocre team in the NFL? Like, I don't know, like Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
Like they're
Vikings,
never good
yeah,
enough
okay,
to win anything, but they're
Never
never bad
terrible,
enough
yeah.
to go down.
Yeah.
Well, they went down a couple years after.
I was going to say
saw
Bears,
them
but we
play.
can go Vikings. Yeah.
Okay, Bears.
Yeah,
Well,
Bears.
Bears are a bad example because they would have gotten relegated several times. But so Sunderland went down, and everyone was like, they'll be back up pretty quickly. They have the resources. They stayed in Division 2 for like 8 years.
Oh,
They just, because the format is a little bit different in that division. I'm not going to get too far into the weeds, but like they have playoffs, they have like weird stuff that they do in that division for how they promote their 3 teams. They actually, Ryan, I might be wrong about this, but I think Sunderland may have even dropped to Division 3 at one point.
Might have, yeah.
That's how fast they fell.
Oh wow, wow.
They're now back in the Premier League, but this is 10 years later.
Yeah, see, I didn't know any of this Premier League stuff and teams dropping down and relegation and revelations and
It's definitely
no,
confusing, like the just the structure of soccer, because like Marco also mentioned the Champions League, and that's like a whole nother wrinkle of like then there's like the domestic cup, like the FA Cup versus the Premier League, and like there's
Yep.
all these competitions happening at once, and like the just like wrapping your head around like how they all relate is really complicated for the average person in the US, because we don't have, until like the NBA started the NBA Cup like 2 years ago, we don't have like an in-season tournament separate from the league like all the soccer leagues do.
hmm.
So yeah, it is confusing. So don't get too overwhelmed.
Okay.
Yep.
Another question on that. So, Mark, you said that spend some money, build your team up to bring it back up. Why would anybody that's a good player and maybe they're in the top league, why, even for X amount of money, why would they want to go play for a bottom team, with the chance of them not getting back up to the top team? Why would, it's like if you're on one of the top teams, I ain't leaving because I want to play at this level for this money. I don't want to go and play for a bottom team. How would the bottom teams ever get better?
Well, that's just it. Well, they got to scout better. That's the thing. So I'll tell you the inverse of that story. So there's Leicester City, right? Leicester City played in Division 2 for a long, long, long time. They get promoted just by being good scouts, finding young players on cheap contracts. They end up getting to the Premier League. I think we're in the Premier League 1 or 2 years. They almost get relegated. They skate by the skin of their teeth. And then in 2016, Dave, if you ever want to buy a set, buy the 2015-16 EPL set. Leicester City was 5,000 to 1. They won the league. They won the league. And how they did it is they played cohesively as a team. They found a guy, oh my God, Jamie Vardy. I almost forgot his name. They found a guy named Jamie Vardy.
Mm-hmm.
He was a fifth division player that everyone overlooked. They signed him for basically a mid-level contract. He stays with the team, stays with the team, stays with the team. They stay in the Premier League. He ends up getting a big contract because the year they win the championship, he might have even won the Golden Boot. He had like 24 goals or something. It's so to answer your question directly, why would a team want to do that? They don't. That's why you don't want to get relegated. So you have to be better about scouting. You have to be better about finding the right coach, running the right systems. It's the ultimate meritocracy. It forces teams to just get better. The downside of European soccer, specifically again using the Premier League as an example, I say this as an Arsenal fan, and yes, we didn't win it for 20 years or whatever, but for the most part, the top six are the top six every year because they're the teams that spend the money. It's Arsenal, it's Manchester City, it's Liverpool, it's Man
It
United.
sounds a lot like 1970s NHL where Montreal was the best team and they just kept getting the best players. And so how does the Washington Capitals or the Minnesota North Stars get any better when all the good guys go to Montreal or Boston or Chicago? And it's just like all those teams are at the top all the time. How do the bottom teams get better if everybody wants to play for the top teams?
I mean, it can be
So
done. Yeah. Or go ahead, Ryan. Yeah.
yeah, no, like the first thing that comes to mind is just like um the fact that in soccer there's not like European soccer and world soccer, there's not like a draft like you have in American leagues. So like if you're the best up and coming soccer player, yeah, you might already be in like Barcelona's academy, like their
Yeah.
youth training system, but you might be on West Ham's academy or Sunderland or Leicester. So like these smaller clubs from small towns have a chance to develop players and then sell
Yep.
them for like big amounts of money, and then they use that to buy star players that are more established. So it's a little bit different than American sports.
Well, I was
Okay.
going to say, I think, Ryan, you mentioned something that, Dave, you may not know, but that's another thing that we do not do in this country that the rest of the world does. So, like Arsenal, for example, every EPL team for the most part, they'll have a youth academy. So like Barcelona, when they signed Messi, he was like 12 years old. And they go into Argentina, they meet Messi, they scout this kid. Oh my God, he's amazing. This they call him wonder kids. Like, and it's a very common story. That's how Ronaldo gets discovered. That's how whoever gets discovered for the most part. So what
Neymar.
they'll do is they'll literally go recruit you and they'll say, hey, we think your son has a lot of talent. Come play in our youth system. It's almost like a boarding school. Then they take the kid in. It's soccer, 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 24 hours a day and a little bit of school. And next thing you know, you have now raised this amazing footballer that, like Ryan said, if I'm a
Hmm.
small club like Sunderland, I don't have to bring him to my major league team. I can sell him, and some of those players can fetch 20 million, 50 million on the transfer market. And that's money that goes straight to your club that now you can go buy a real
Yeah.
true blue player instead of
Interesting.
maybe he wants to leave when he gets good anyway. Why would I want to play here? Well, I could still make money. It sounds bad, but I could still make money selling your rights to another team.
Okay, that makes sense. Let me get back to the chat room here. Glenn, good to see you here, Glenn. The USL is starting regulation next year. I believe they will have 3 levels. Interesting. So the USL. I'm gonna have to start looking into some of these soccer things. I really am. And Duffer Man, again, I'm behind in the chat, folks. Wrexham scored a minute into the game against Leeds yesterday. Interesting. Christopher says, I thought the USHL game had really good atmosphere. The end section seating led to chanting and singing and drumming. The stadium only seats a few thousand, though, but they're expanding it.
It's cool.
On regulation, what drives me up a wall is Burnley bouncing back and forth between the EPHL or the EPL and the English Champions League. Okay, so that would make sense. Dufferman says watching those regulation teams in the last games is very exciting. Oh yeah, I can see how that would be. Yeah, because you're playing for your lives. Relegation prevents tanking, says the inspector. Gus says, my Newcastle has been relegated twice in the past few years. When that happens, you don't see them on TV. Any decent players go to play on other teams. It's just no fun. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like, okay, I'm out of here. I'm going to go up to the top and someone can sign me up there and you guys will never. It's like, I wonder how anybody ever comes back, We could talk for 2 to 3 hours, Dave, on promotion and relegation. It is fascinating for so many reasons. Yeah, I'm starting to learn that. I'm learning about soccer. I really didn't know anything about it. Aside from, Schumacher played goalie for Germany back when I was a kid. Schumacher. All I ever heard was Schumacher. I think he was the goalie. Relegation is awesome. You need to develop multi-tiered system, and the teams need somewhere to go. Yep. So there is that. It would have been fantastic if Arsenal won the treble and EPL title, Champions League title, and the Spurs being relegated.
That would have been the holy trinity, wouldn't it? But no, I'll take so what he's referring to there. And by the way, Dave, I actually got to run in about 5 minutes, but I'm getting paged from upstairs. But what he's referring to there, so this is actually a perfect example of what Ryan was trying to describe. So you have domestic leagues, right? So that's your EPL. And then you have inter-domestic league, which is like the FA Cup. So you'll think of it like this. You'll have the NFL season that has its own champion. But then outside of that, you'll have a tournament where we take the best American NFL teams, the best college teams, and they're going to play a tournament. That's its whole other thing. Then you have the Champions League, which is the best team from England, the best 4 teams from England, from France, from Germany, from wherever, Spain. They play a tournament. So when he refers to the treble, and it's only been done a handful of times, Man City was the most recent one to do it, if I'm not mistaken, is you win all 3 in the same season. You win your domestic league, so the EPL, you win the FA Cup, which is your domestic tournament, and then you win the Champions League. Arsenal this year blew it in the FA Cup final, or maybe it was a semifinal. We did win the league finally, the EPL, and then we blew it in the Champions League final. We scored. It was embarrassing. Ryan's smiling. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. They scored in the first 10 minutes, and then sat on the ball for 80 minutes. Like, it was a disgrace. As an Arsenal fan, it was a disgrace. And when you look at that, PSG, the Paris Saint-Germain scores in like the 88th minute. They score again in extra time. It's over.
Hmm.
But so when he says treble, that's what he means. You win all these different championships. So like if you walk into any major club, whether it's in Spain or England or wherever, and you look at their trophy case, right? You walk into the Pittsburgh Steelers, you see 6 Super Bowl trophies,
Mhm.
right? You walk into a EPL club like an Arsenal or a Man United, you'll see 50 trophies.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because we won this domestic cup, then we won this FA Cup, then we won this Champions League, and we did it 4 years in a row. Then we did it. It's just, again, the structure is very different, but it's very cool at the same time.
Couple things for you go, Marco. When we get back to why soccer is not so popular, do you think it's because it's a slower paced game? You know, whereas hockey's fast and they sped it up, football's fast and they sped it up, basketball's fast because it's a 3-point contest. Baseball's the only one that kind of stayed the same, and I think that maybe baseball's taking a hit because of that. Do you think everything's sped up? We got Amazon, same day delivery, drive-throughs, DoorDash. Do you think because soccer is such an older sport at a slower pace that America just can't embrace it?
I just think America's gonna do American things. I really think that's it. Like, because I would put baseball, which is my favorite sport of all time, is baseball. I would put baseball and soccer in the same category because, part of my French, I heard the same bullshit growing up that baseball's boring. I don't like baseball. No, it's just you don't understand baseball. That's all it is. Like, or not that you don't understand it. It's not a hard game to understand, but it's an acquired taste.
Mm.
But once you taste it and once you understand what that taste is, you can't get enough of it.
Yeah. It was 1976 or 77. I was playing Little League, and one of my best friends didn't play Little League. And I says, "Why aren't you playing?" He goes, "Because I'm going to play soccer." He goes, "You watch, soccer's going to take this country over." And that was in 1976 or 77. I'm still waiting for it to take over, you know?
Yeah, I've been hearing it my whole life too. And to be honest with you, it's never going to take over the US, but what I will say is at least the Premier League, Ryan, I think you would agree with this. I know 20x the number of people that are into the Premier League now than when I first. So I'm
Oh
relatively
yeah.
new. I first started watching in 2015 was the first year that I really started watching EPL.
Hmm.
Um, I knew like one other person that watched it. I used to wear this exact jersey out and about, and people would be like, "What the hell is that?" Now, like, people will know what this is for the most part. You can a maybe not Dave, but a Manchester City jersey. You probably know who that is, or what team, or you can at least tell me what league that team is from.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
think just to kind of follow up on that, like there's a certain intelligence that you have like watching soccer, understanding the game itself, and it's like an appreciation of how, like I mentioned before, there's about 500 passes per team in a game,
Hmm.
and just getting an appreciation for every pass. Did they take the right angle? Did the guy off the ball stand in the right spot? Did he move to the right area? And the more you watch soccer, like the more you'll start to appreciate those things. So I would definitely encourage you to go to a New England Revolution game, Dave.
I
Yeah.
might, yeah, I might, yeah.
When you like, especially when you're there, like look off the ball. Like I have this hockey book that says like take your eye. It's
Take your
called
eye off the
Take.
puck. Yep.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. And watching soccer, I think that really helps you appreciate what's happening throughout the whole 90 minutes. Because like an average NFL game, like you mentioned, Marco, only has I think I read like 11 minutes of actual
Yep.
game time.
That's right.
Um, yeah,
All right, I got two more questions for you. Go, I'll make them quick. I did a PKs. I did some penalty kicks the other day for fun, and I went 4 rounds to 2 rounds each, and it was 2-1. I had 3 misses, 3 saves, and 3 goals, or something like that. Is that common to have that many misses and that many saves?
Uh,
I mean, it was bad rolling on my part, but I didn't know how realistic that was. By
it's probably 70-30 in the shooter's favor, I would say. So 70% of the time you're going to get a goal, I would say. I have a rule of thumb when I'm watching PKs in the World Cup or any other format, really. Um, in a 5-round penalty kick contest, if a goalie's making 2 saves, they're winning it. Like if you could save the ball twice, you're going to win the PK
Yeah, and
for
they
the
did.
most
Yeah,
part.
they did. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Ryan, is that common to have a couple of saves in 4 rounds?
Yeah, it's about like what Marco said. So, like, I think that conversion rate is like 80% on penalty
Yeah,
kicks.
that sounds
You
right.
should
Yeah.
miss about 1 in 5.
Okay. And the other question I have is, I know Ryan, you've seen it, Rocco. I don't know if you've seen the way that I've been handling some of the things in Apasaka, whereas I'm unclear on some of the rules is whether it's going to be a control check. So in other words, you throw it in or kick it, and that team maintains the ball, or if it's a loose ball check, meaning that either team can get the ball, because it doesn't quite specify it in the rules. What I've been doing is, depending on which zone you throw in, I consult the loose ball chart, and if it's more towards the center of the field, I go towards the 4 column, which is meaning it's like everything from 11 to 62 stays with the team. 63, 64, and 65, it's a steal. So it's a small chance the team's going to steal it. And as you get closer to the net, when you get down to B and C, then I use column 0, which is a 50-50 roll for the ball. Because I didn't know which one stayed with the team and which one didn't. So I'm kind of doing a gradual thing, whereas the closer to the net, the more chances the defense has to steal it. I mean, I don't know what you guys thought about that. Or should I just keep it with the team and that creates more offense?
I
Like direct kicks, indirect kicks, throw-ins, things like that. Goal kicks.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say it's a catch-22 because almost all of your shots are, if you think about soccer in the real form, trying to translate it to the tabletop, 90% of your goals are within maybe what, Ryan, maybe the box and maybe 10 yards past it, something like that. So, and you think about it, most of the time when the ball's going out of bounds, it's because someone on the defense has deflected it out of bounds,
Right.
usually. Now, it's not always the case. A lot of times, too, but then the inverse of that is where a lot of corners come from, and I know the game accounts for corners, is because the goalie has made a save and the ball has sailed over the goal line, just not in the net. So I think what the game is doing is it's already, and again, I haven't played Apple Soccer in a while, but what it's doing is if it's telling you it's a corner kick, it's telling you that like the offensive player made a good
Mm-hmm.
shot and some defender knocked it out of bounds. If you're getting a different result, like a throw in or a free kick, it's probably the defense initiating the action on that next roll. But I don't know. I would have to. I may go back. I'll ping you on Messenger. I'll watch.
I
I'll
just
watch
didn't
your
know
last video.
on a
Yeah.
throw in, on a goal kick, indirect kicks, corner kicks, direct kicks. Um, do I think it kind of assumes that it stays with that team. But should I ever go with a loose ball challenge on some of those things? That's what I'm kind of wondering. It's like when the goalie kicks it down, like someone said, the longer it goes, the more it's going to be contested. It's like a jump ball.
Right.
Whereas if he
Yeah.
rolls it out to somebody, it's more likely taken by his team. So
Yes.
again, whereas the rules, direct kick is pretty clear. It says it stays with the team.
Yeah.
But the other, and the kickoff does too, I think. But the other ones, it doesn't really specify if it's a loose ball and I'm going to see which team's going to get it, or if I just roll to see who gets it on. Manchester kicks it, and so Manchester gets the ball. It's just kind of unclear on that. So I've been kind of playing that
Yeah.
loose ball chart in a different way. So the closer to the net, the more chances the defense can make a play on it. So it's been fun. I just don't know if that's the right way, and I don't know enough about soccer to say, yeah, that's the way to
Yeah.
do it.
I would have to see what you're doing. Sorry, I really have to run, but I think Ryan, I think you played it more recently, so that's probably more of a Ryan question. But I would imagine it's probably the defense dictating the ball because they're the ones. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tricky one. I'd have to watch and see what you're talking about, and I could make a better assessment.
Okay. Well, Thanks for coming by, Marco.
Of course.
And
Anytime.
we're going to be wrapping up pretty soon, but me and Ryan will wrap things up here. So again, thanks to Tebow Marco for coming by, and let us know when you get the app of soccer and when you're playing it. And like I say, when you run into some of the questions that I had, how you're going to deal with them. So.
For sure. Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me, David. I mean this. It brought a tear to my eye to see you starting to play. I knew it would get you. Soccer gets everyone. You just got to let it in.
It brought a tear to my eye, too.
Have a great night, gentlemen. This was awesome. I'll see you soon.
All righty. So Ryan, what do you think of that? Because you see what I'm saying is that the closer to the net you get, the more chances the defense has of stealing that ball in the loose ball chart. Whereas if I throw it into X, I go to column 4, which is, again, 3 out of 36 that the defense is going to steal. But there's the chance that they do, and I think that adds a little fun to it. Gus said he's played it both ways, so who gets the ball and a loose ball, and adds variety to your gameplay. So.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with it. I think it's a cool idea. It's different, and especially for goal kicks, like that's for sure a 50-50 like loose ball in my opinion. Should not just go to the offensive team. The only thing I would be careful of is like with the throw-ins. So the further you are up the field, the better chance, like you're doing, the better chance the defense has of getting the throw-in. I would just kind of look into whether or not. Like, I think it's like 0 through 4 on that index.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe like look into like if it should be like 1 or 2.
Well,
I'm not
0 is the 50-50.
Yeah.
0 is 50-50, and 4 is like the 90%.
Yeah.
So that's why when I throw it in to X, which is your defensive half, supposedly, that's when I go to 4, because that's the 90% chance that
makes sense.
you're going to retain the ball. Whereas if you throw into C, now you're throwing into a crowd, and that's when I feel would be contested. And that's when I go the 50-50 route or something like that. So, Ryan froze up there. It must have been a tough question. We'll see if we can get him back. But anyway, I'm still kicking around again. I like to play around when I get new games and try to figure out, what the best thing's going to be. And he's back right now. So
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I don't know why my connection keeps dropping.
But yeah, so again, I'm still playing around. It hasn't wrecked the game. In fact, it's kind of made it fun. It's similar to what I do with Apple Football, whereas some people, every fumble and interception gets returned or has a chance to return, and other people say, no, it's not. I play in the middle. I roll a decide or die and decide if the guy picking up the ball or intercepting the ball gets a return. And it's a 50-50 chance for everybody. And I think it was like you or Tebow said that as long as I'm consistent, I'm not going to wreck the game for either team, if I'm consistent.
Exactly.
So, but I just didn't know if that would be unrealistic, if that's going to wreck anything or not by doing it that way. So basically treating everything like a loose ball, except when it designates it. It says B2.
Right.
Obviously, that's a pass. But everything, even corner kicks, designate everything as a loose ball when it just specifies an area. And let them battle it out, Again, slide it, depending where the ball is, I'm going to slide it towards the control team. But the defense does have a chance along the way, getting more chances as it gets closer to their net to steal the ball. Yep. So, and Glenn says, you also have to remember that you are playing 30 seconds increments, so a lot can happen in that. So play the way you want. Yeah, that's true too. So if I throw it in, maybe they do get it, and then they give it away. And, just like in hockey, it's like when you have a giveaway, it could have, done so many things in that 30 seconds, but it finally lands on the stick of this guy. So right. I guess that's a good point by Glenn is that, I don't know, I'm still kicking it around. After talking with Al yesterday, I kind of wanted to change it, but then, the more I think about it, it does kind of make sense. It just, you get a 90% chance of getting it if you're in your own area. But, the closer you get to the net, it's a little more difficult to make that pass, I would think,
Yep.
And it makes for some fun. It makes this for some fun, especially with the corner kicks. Because like when you're coming out of the corner kick and it says, to B, the way I play it, it's 50-50. If you kick it into B, you're not automatically going to get it to your guy, There's a 50-50 chance that the defense might take it away. Maybe that's too much. Maybe it shouldn't be 50-50. Maybe it should be more of a chance for the team in the corner kick to get it. But again, you know, like Glenn said, it's so much is happening. You don't know where he kicked it. He might have just kicked it softly over here, or
Yep.
you know, on a throw in, he might have just thrown it 10 feet to a guy, or he might have hucked it down the field. You know, and I've seen guys go up and try to head the throw-ins too, a guy from each team. You know, so there's no guarantee. I just feel the closer you get to the net, the tougher it is to make those clean plays and clean passes. You know.
Yeah, definitely. I guess with APA soccer, the one thing that might be throwing off the game engine would be the corner kicks,
Okay.
because sometimes the corner kicks would lead you to having like an automatic shot.
Oh,
And
those I play. I play the
Okay.
shots, you
Okay,
know.
nice.
But if it's just like a corner kick to A or a corner kick to B
Yeah,
or C or whatever it is, I still just kind of throw those out as a loose ball and go to the chart. It's never more than 50-50, though. The way I play it is the defense never has any more than a 50% chance of getting the ball close to the net. It's always 50-50 at that point. And but you kind of see what I'm saying, right? I
Yeah.
go to the loose ball shot. I go to the higher rated team, so to speak. So the team with the ball, I consider the higher rated team. And so if
Yeah.
H comes up on my fast action card, it stays with them, and it usually does on anything in X and F. It usually does. But occasionally I've had a steal, and it's like kind of neat. And the way I see it is that, you know, the guy threw it in, maybe the guy wasn't paying attention, and someone spun in front of him and took it away, or maybe the guy got it for a second and lost it. I just kind of play it like that, and I find it to be enjoyable. I just find it adds a lot of variety to the game, it what was it over here? Like Gus said, you know, he's played it both ways, and it does add variety to the gameplay. And it's one fast action flip. It doesn't take long at all to see
Yeah,
who gets
exactly.
it. And if it stays with that team, then I flip the control card. So it's one extra card. It doesn't take long at all. And I think it adds some fun to it. But I guess what I'm kind of asking is that if somebody that plays APA soccer and understands what I'm doing, if they were to come back and say, "Oh, Dave, you can't do that because blah 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 blah," and have a really good reason why, then I would be like, okay, because that's what I'm kind of looking for. You know, is this like so far
Right.
out of line what I'm doing, or does this make sense? Because sometimes when we play tabletop games,
Hmm.
you have to realize it's a tabletop game, and there's rules in place to do certain things to make the game work. Whereas I'm trying to make it feel more like what would happen in soccer. Just like sometimes with the hockey games or the football games, I try to make it feel like you're more like a football or a hockey game. But sometimes if I do that, it's kind of wrecks what was the design of the game to make it
Yeah.
work by the numbers. So I guess that's my question. And, you know, would I wreck the game? Destroy the numbers of the game, or would I get some crazy results if I played it like this? Would I get a lot less goals because of I don't have the offense and control of the ball as much because I'm doing this, or would it create a more realistic game? I guess that's the question I'm kind of asking. So anybody that's listening that knows soccer, that plays the APA soccer game, might be able to chime in and say, either yeah, that's a bad idea because you need to have more control in the game to generate the shots, or you might say no, that makes sense, because the rule book doesn't quite spell out everything, and that's the topic that we had on the show. So,
Right.
but anyway, another question for you here. And I think Tebow and Mark are listening. So if you guys hear this and want to chime in, either in the chat or later on, that's fine. I wonder, because I don't know much about soccer, and as you can see, I've learned so much about soccer tonight with the relegation and the revelation and all that other stuff you guys talked about. I wonder if I'm enjoying this game because I'm not really a soccer guy. And I can kind of just enjoy it for what it is. And I was talking to Al about this, and I was talking to other people about this too. Like I say, hockey and football, I'm really into it. I really know that. And so when I play those games, I take them much more serious and I'm much more critical. Whereas games like basketball, baseball even, and now soccer, whereas I'm a casual fan and I enjoy it from, the top row rather than the front row. I almost said rut row, didn't I? I almost said rut row. Front row. I wonder if I'm enjoying this game in kind of a blissful mode because I don't know a lot about it, and I'm just playing it and having fun with it.
Yeah, I definitely think that is something that's kind of common across games. I had a thought before, like one of the things I've heard you say over the years on the show here is that, we're all in search of that perfect game that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And so with soccer, like it is new to you, and I think that's definitely something that's happening. But more broadly, I think with soccer gaming, there's maybe a little bit less of a expectation of like perfect statistical accuracy because like the game is only has like two or three goals a game. So it's not like baseball where you're expecting, did my guy hit 284 like on the dot because I'm expecting like very much in-depth statistical accuracy.
Hmm.
I don't think that really is something that the soccer gaming community faces. It's just it's because like you're not actually like out rolling the dice 1,000 times for all 500 passes for both teams. So you're more able to just kind of take take the game for what it is and appreciate it without the same level of scrutiny that some other gaming sports might get.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I just like I said, because I'm playing it and enjoying it, and my concern about playing it Dave's way is that because I potentially am taking the ball out of the hands of a team who has a potential of getting a shot on goal, so it's going to generate less offense, and I didn't know if that's going to skew some of my numbers as far as shots or goals because of the small chance I'm giving the other team to take it away. So as much as I might feel this feels more like soccer. Again, not knowing a lot about soccer, but it feels to me
Mhm.
like when a guy hits a ball deep and I see everyone running for the ball, it's not a guarantee that his team's going to get it sometimes, and so that's kind of what I was going with here. But if it's going to hurt the APA soccer game itself, not the game of soccer, but the APA soccer game, it's going to take away a
Mhm.
lot of offensive chances because now it's basically a turnover, and that's going to cost 30 seconds to flip. For the other team to get the ball and go the other way. Now I'm losing some offense, so I'm kind of, wondering about that. But Marco chimed in and says that you kind of nailed it with that there, and yeah, that makes sense. As far as not too concerned about being statistically accurate and getting within 2 or 3 points of a batting average. You know, so yeah, that makes sense. And Marco does say that one of the funnest games he has played in a while was cricket. He goes, he knows nothing about cricket, and I do think that's part of it. But he also says soccer is such a simple game with not a ton of stats. So, yeah, I think that kind of makes sense too. Is that I am enjoying it because I don't know much about soccer, and I'm enjoying it very blissfully, and just really just enjoying it. And even though I don't know anybody on the field that I'm playing, but it is fun seeing the ball move in and then move back, and the team passing around. You get the feel that they're just moving it around the field, So I get all that, and then they take the shot, and then they occasionally take the shot from way downtown, which makes it fun. Like I'm driving it at the net, see if I can catch the goalie napping type of thing. It
Yep.
really does a good job with all that stuff there. Again, with my limited soccer knowledge, it just feels really good when I do that. And but again, someone like a real soccer player might pick it apart and say, well, yeah, that's not realistic, or that's not realistic. Well, I don't know. I just kind of enjoying it.
No, I
Uh,
think I think that's like something that we experience in the hobby across any sport, just like Marco mentioned. And hey, Benjamin.
oh yeah, Benjamin. He says the low amount of goal scoring in soccer makes for an intense gaming experience. Any one big player mistake at any time can be the whole story of the game. Makes every game pretty exciting. I will say that, Ben, is that the games I was playing, again, I'm up 2 goals, late in the game, and I'm thinking it's over. And then the team goes down, and they kind of just drive it into the net, and it's 3-2. And then we go into extra time, and I'm thinking it's over. The team's got the ball in the other end, and they're killing time, and they're just passing it, and I can see the clock ticking away. I
Yep.
only got a couple minutes to go in stoppage time. Okay, I got to get it right. I got to
You
get it
got
right.
it.
Stop. I
You
don't
got
want to
it.
say extra time because that's different. Stoppage time or injury time, whatever you want to call it. And next thing you know, they kick the ball into D or C. And like, holy cow, if I roll a shot here, they got a chance of tying this thing up, and I roll for a shot, and then lo and behold, the goalie card gives me a 10, and I know a 10's a goal now,
Yeah.
which is nice and easy on the goalie card, actually.
That is
And they tied it up, the son of a gun. They tied it up, and I'm like, again, it did. It come down to those last few minutes, and the team's moving the ball around. They had the lead, and then they coughed it up, and the other team just moved it down into a shooting range, and by chance, their guy shot the ball and scored. And it was the visitors that scored it. And I can just picture the home crowd just like, all the air comes out of the stadium, and the underdog visitors, France, scoring the goal. I thought that was pretty darn cool. I really did. It really kind of felt like these guys are saying in the chat room, it comes down to the end,
Absolutely.
Highlight Heyday says, cricket's a great game. Minden Cricket's a fantastic game. Yep. And yes, Ben is in the house, says Greg there. Thanks for coming by. And Glenn, another comment from Glenn. I mean, the one game you played with that system ended in a 2-2 draw. It did, yeah, it did. It was, I thought it worked. But again, I don't know anything about, I hate to keep saying that, but yeah, I don't know much about soccer to see if that would wreck it. You know what I mean? It's almost like saying, every pass in football, I'm going to see if it's intercepted. Well, every pass is not intercepted, So
I hear what you're saying. I don't think that it's a good thought and it's worth getting more opinions on. But to me, it doesn't really break the game engine and makes it more realistic. So if you're enjoying it, then that's what matters.
Yeah. And like I say, I played one game with it, and it worked. It just seemed to work pretty well, actually.
Yeah.
And again, with just one more flip, it was no big deal. It's just, okay, it goes in the zone, whatever it is. If it's near the net, I look at column 0. I flip the card, and it's either H or L. It tells me if the team that had the ball keeps it or if the defense gets it. And, okay, Glenn makes a good point here. Just keep playing it and see how it feels. And he agrees with you that it's not going to break the game. And a lot of things I do for, home brews or whatever it is, I hate to call them home brews, but because when it's not clear, I have to decide what to do, right? I have to decide what to do. But yeah, it might break the game because I'm taking away potential offensive chances by checking a loose ball if it's supposed to stay with that team. That's my concern. It's like in hockey, if I make a pass and let's see if the other team steals it. Well, if the game is designed for that guy to get the puck and take a shot, I'm taking shots away because I'm checking for a turnover on every play. So I guess that was my thing there, And Randy comes by. Good to see you, Randy. He's playing some 62 football on his channel. I have to watch more of my vids on soccer. Not a fan, so I haven't been tempted to watch much yet. Oh, I wasn't either, Randy. It is fun, though. It is fun. I got to say, I'm enjoying it. I think it's the easiest of the app. Aside from app of baseball, which obviously is super, super easy, the basic version. I think the soccer is the next one. The football's easy. The basic football's easy, but it can get a little tricky with, turnovers and things like that and penalties and, who gets what and how things are handled. The hockey, I think, is pretty complex. It's still manageable, but there's a lot of things that I had to kind of overcome to get the hockey to work, All right, so another good point. Oh, Sean comes by. Yeah, Sean didn't get the notification. That's all right, Sean. I heard Sean was at the Waffle House. That's why he didn't get the notification, Let's see here. And Marco also says, think of it like this, Dave. Okay, I'm thinking. You modded Apple Hockey to get rid of the ODAI. I did. Well, I didn't, but Mike Berger did, and I use his system, and I love it. If it works for you, then it works. I don't think you're breaking the game. Okay, I feel better. Okay. And the Big Red Machine, yeah, he's right. He said it isn't enough. So one game isn't enough to judge, and you have different quality teams. So I guess it's just, I can continue to play it like that, or I can go back to playing it a different way. I kind of like the mod that I'm using. I just do. I think it feels more like soccer, even though I might generate less offense. But I haven't been lacking offense. I mean, I'm not getting any 8-8 goal games, that's for sure. But I'm certainly not, it's not like I haven't scored a goal in 3 games.
Right.
Do you think I'll score more or less goals with the MLS set versus the greatest all-time World Cup teams?
That's a really good question. I'm not exactly sure, but it should be about the same. Um, I mean, statistically, like the MLS is like 3.1 goals per game, and like different World Cups have been like 2.8. So
So they're close.
the
Yeah.
difference is pretty small. Yeah.
I just didn't know because I've only been playing the World Cup teams, and now I have your MLS season, and I think I got another one coming in and another World Cup set. So I didn't know if I was playing World Cup teams, if that was I should be getting less scoring versus like the MLS, where again the tier of the players is different. So maybe I would get more or less scoring in the MLS depending on that. But if it's pretty close, it's pretty close.
Yeah, and they're all ranked like against each other. So like the MLS players are going to be ranked relative to other MLS players, and then same with I would think with the World Cup set also.
I guess that's true. That's true with that. Um, so I won't say which World Cup set I have coming in, but what sold me on that getting a World Cup set is first off, I really like the game, and I can see myself playing a lot of this game. I think I could probably get this game playing quicker than the hockey game. I kind of
Oh
do.
yeah, oh yeah, definitely without a question.
With the fast action cards and just how the game plays and how time ticks away, I feel as though I could probably do this game. I don't know if I could do it in an hour. I'd have to be really flying, and I play slow, but an hour, 15 minutes is
Hour
doable.
15 is what people can do for the soccer game.
And the hockey it's got to be an hour and a half for me just because how I play. Even with the spreadsheet that gets rid of all the dice rolls that I was.
Oh, that's impressive to play an hour and a half, honestly. Take
Yeah,
me like
well,
2 or 3
again,
hours.
all my dice rolls are done for me. So I mean, I look up, it gives you the dice roll for the player card. I have the charts on the screen as well. So Keith did a great job of setting it up to put the main chart on there. So that's there. So everything's right on my screen, and and then I can get the shot range and the goalie save range and anything I need is on the screen. So all my dice rolls are done at once. So I'm saving all that time, rolling dice for that. So it goes pretty quick with that. Hockey Bones does too.
Definitely agree with Marco's point here.
Oh, let's see what Marco's got to say. Now we have to lobby APA to get facts for hockey. I was wondering how they would even do that. I don't know if they could do that for hockey. I think somebody tried that one time. I think Mike Berger actually tried to do that, and I got the facts actually, but I couldn't figure out like what they did, and I never went any further with that. But the thing is I guess I don't know. I don't know how you could do that. I don't know how because the
Yeah.
soccer, it's got the zones, and then you have all the throw-ins and things like that. I guess you could have a fast action result for a face-off.
Yep.
So you could have how it's like if it's even or if it's one better, two better, or three better. Or I don't know if it goes up to four, and I forget. But you could
Right.
definitely have it for the face-off to see who wins the face-off.
For sure.
Um,
Like resolving just like how the APA soccer cards have like a 11 to 66 roll, 2 different points on the card. Like if the hockey cards were to have that similarly, then you could just rather than rolling so much.
so you have the dice rolls, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else APA does. APA has they have the loose balls for APA soccer.
Mhm.
There's really not a loose ball. It's really mostly dice rolls for the hockey game. Because
Yeah.
if you're checking for a block shot, you need to get a number. The shots come from the player card. The saves come from the player card. So if you check the save, it tells you if it's a save, a goal, or a rebound, or something like that. I really don't know. Aside from the face-offs, which could be weighted like they are, almost like the loose ball shot. Again, the better guy has the better chance of getting the face-off.
Right.
I don't know what else you could do for the hockey game off the top of my head because it is a lot of dice rolls because you need to see the player card and get the number off of that. Then you go to the main chart. So in soccer, you go to the main chart. I don't know.
Yeah,
You
it
need
doesn't translate as well. I think like the soccer, like anything that's a chart, like everything on there, you could roll dice for, and there is a chart in the rule book for it. So like, there's a chart for throw-ins, like what zone do you get it in,
Yeah.
and like so anything that has a chart in Epa hockey, like the wide shot resolution, the
Yeah,
uh,
that you could do.
clearance,
Yes, wide shot
clearance
resolution. Yep.
resolution, those might be able to be on there, but yeah, just like how Paul Dillon made the fast action cards for soccer. It might have to be a fan made creation, just to kind of get the wheels moving on that.
Yeah, Marco said that the only way it would work is the top number for the range number, bottom number, goalie save number. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm talking about. Is you could have the dice rolls on cards, but I guess if you wanted to get dice rolls, you could use the Apifax, right, for dice rolls,
Yeah,
or any other game that has dice rolls on it. Even payoff pitch fast action cards has dice rolls on it. If you wanted to use those, I don't know if it's no, that doesn't have the 11 to 66, so that couldn't use that. But you could use the Apple Soccer cards because they have dice rolls on it, so
yeah,
that might help out if you want to do that. But as far as like getting results from the charts and stuff, it's a different. It's handled very differently. It's a lot more shots than soccer. There's a lot less zone play, is I guess
right,
what it is. Because again, if it's a save, it goes to a position, and that's on the chart. So you get that from the chart. So you wouldn't need a card for that. Again, block shots, you need to roll a number to see if it's blocked or if it's cleared away. Everything is a dice roll. And you're not really going to a chart. You're really looking at the cards.
right,
Again, the only chart you look at for APA are the face-off chart, which could be on a card, the result, which can't be on a card. You do need to get that dice result and then go to the card to get the number, whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 28 or whatever it is, and then get that off the chart. Yeah, I can't think of anything else that the hockey would do. Again, the wide shots are that would work. The face-offs would work. Aside from that, I'm not sure. Because again, you're rolling the dice in soccer, and you're looking at the goal kick chart to see what zone it goes, the throw-in chart, direct kick chart, indirect kick chart, and that gives you a zone. And that really doesn't happen in hockey. There's no, you don't just throw the puck in and see who's going to get it.
right.
Because everything's a check. You're rolling against numbers, and there's a lot more rolling against numbers on the cards in hockey than there is in soccer. It really is, There's no block shot chart. No, Glenn asked if there's a block shot chart for hockey. No, it's you take the combined numbers of the defense and you roll. I believe you roll the dice or one die and see if you can beat the block number is what it is. So again, that's not a chart. That comes off the cards, and the block numbers are on the cards. There's a lot more things on the cards for hockey than there is in soccer. So, yeah, Scott plays APA hockey, so he said the same thing too. Face-offs, wide shots, all the little shots you have to keep flipping, like tip in. Yeah, but there'd only be a couple of things. The face-off and the wide shots. And you don't get wide shots much at all. I don't get wide shots hardly at all in my game. And, Keith has those on the spreadsheet too, by the way, so I don't even need to worry about that. Yeah, I can't. Again, so much comes right off the cards themselves, so you need the dice roll is what you need. So, so that is that. And Gus says perhaps the facts for hockey could be similar to what Grant does with his game. I don't think so, because Grant's game just checks the player ratings. It's a very different engine, Whereas in Grant's game, it's like okay, is the left wing a 3, or is the offense this? And that's very different to Apple, where you roll and you get a number and you go to the chart to see what he did. Did he lose the puck? Did he get a shot? Did he get a penalty? It's you're not so much checking ratings on the card as you are checking the numbers and going to the chart to see what he did. Yeah, interesting. Some people have brought that up, and I wish there was a way that it did, but I did. I just think it's all dice rolls for APA, and it's all coming off the card for the most part. Again, aside from a few things that we talked about there,
Yep.
even football is kind of the same way. It's you just got to roll the dice to get your defense and to get the number off the card. Then you go to the chart. There's really nothing that could speed that up. But where the soccer is designed with the different zones and is 5 or 6 or 7 different ways to get the ball into a zone, and then so all those charts could be on a card. So yeah, so but again, fast action cards are a must for soccer, I think.
Yep.
Unless you're Tiger Bob and you can roll tons of times. I don't know how he does it. Tiger Bob does a great job. It's really, really good job with that. The other thing I wanted to bring up too, and then we've been on for a couple hours. We'll wrap this up shortly, Ryan. But
Sure.
I did pick up a world. I don't know if I've already talked about this, but I did pick up a world set. I'm not going to say which one, a World Cup set, because I like to play teams from the same time. Okay.
Yep.
Now, right now, I have 1934 Italy and 1990 Italy and 66 Soviet Union, so I'm bouncing all over the place. And it was fun. A couple games I played with fun, but I like to. Like, I'm a seasoned player. And so that set that you sent me, 2019, I can play teams that actually played against each other. And I can get the lineups and I can get the formations or get them as close as I can. And I can play that game. And that's what I like to do. I like to play, that game. So that's one thing I like to do. So I have that season. I did get an older MLS season. And then I have a World Cup set coming in from a particular year. And what I like about it is I think it's 32 teams in this set, and it's got some really bad teams. So it's got like Iran and Iceland, and it's got some really different teams in there. Some of these teams didn't even win a game, and so I'm intrigued by these teams here, and I think it'd be fun, to have Iceland, take on the winner, whoever the winner was that year, whether it was France or Spain or whoever it was. And see what the score would be, because that's what I do all the time. I take the Seals and play the Bruins, or I take the Scouts and play the Flyers, and I like to see how the really bad teams measure up against the really good teams. But I like to do that within a season, not like because again, even the as bad as some of the teams are rated in my World Cup teams that I have, the greatest of all time, there, whatever it is. There's still, a great team, whereas, if I were to play, Vancouver or Cincinnati in that 2019 set that you sent me, they're bad. I imagine their rating's going to be bad. And I imagine the better team should beat them up. And sometimes it's fun to play those games. The close games are fun, but sometimes it's also fun to see, all right, how bad is this team? And I really get a kick out of that. So I can't wait to get that set in and play some of the teams that didn't even win a game. I might even have like a losers bracket tournament, and do that,
Nice. That's awesome.
So looking forward to that. Also, I'm kind of wondering if I could maybe like just play a half. You know what I mean? And maybe stop the game at 23 minutes or whatever, and then just have the other team kick off, or just play a shorter game, even though the game plays pretty quick. But maybe I could have my tournament and only play a half. And just. I would just hate to get a lot of 0-0 games, but because I talked about that with baseball, like shortening it up to 6 innings or something like that, and just so I could get a game in and play a bunch of games. And even though it'd be obviously less hits and less scoring because I'm playing less of a game, no matter what game you're doing, is if I only played 30 minutes of hockey instead of 60, obviously it's going to skew some things. But I mean, if I'm there just to get results and just to get teams on the table. I don't know if that would hurt much at all, but it might be kind of fun.
Think it would.
I
don't see any issue with it.
Just to play a half with everybody. It's okay. We're going to play all these teams here, and everyone just plays a half against each other, and it's going to be a shortened game, and that's that. And I don't know. I'm kicking around again. It really is kind of just a big sandbox for me right now because I don't follow much of this at all. And because it's a simple game to play and it flows and I'm having fun, it's like, man, I would just like to get more teams on the table here. And, I don't necessarily have to play a full game. Like when I play hockey or football, I really do feel like I have to play the whole game. There's something about being that serious hockey guy that you need to play the 3 periods. And then
Right.
when I play football games, whether it's second season or app or season ticket football or any of those full play games, Solitaire Pro, those are the
Hmm.
4 main ones I play. Any of those, I do feel like I need to play the full game because a lot of stuff comes into play, especially late in the game. It's just like, do you got a big lead? Then you slow the game down. If you're trailing, you got to throw the ball more. So when in a shorter game, you lose some of that stuff. Whereas I think with soccer, you might not lose as much as that.
Yeah, there's not as much like situational maneuvering as you would have in like baseball or football. So you're able to just more play the game, and it doesn't really matter the score or situation as much as it does in some other sports.
Yeah. And somebody brought it
Yeah,
up in the chat too, and I forget who it was. They says the reason why that we have a lot of great soccer because they're all low scoring.
right.
Mostly. So you're not going to get this
Depending,
5-0 game and then be like, okay, now we're just going to waste the clock. It's like, it might be 1-0 and 2-0. So there's that, you never get too far away. So if I play one half, it might benefit some of the lower teams because there's less game time means that less of a time they're
Yeah,
playing against a better team.
absolutely.
And yeah, it says it reminded me of my Cleveland Spiders game. Yep, I do. I did enjoy some of those. So anyway, here. All right. So if you're in the chat room here, we're going to be jumping off here. Any final thoughts on either APA soccer or soccer games in general that you might want to throw my way? I got a whole bunch of notes here that I took during this thing here as far as different games and different teams and seasons and stuff like that to play. I'm assuming Andy's going to be contacting me about some soccer co-op stuff, which I'm not opposed to. I'm not
Yeah,
opposed
a
to.
lot of fun.
So again,
And
I just need to know like what he's doing. What seasons are available. What games I would have to play them in. I wouldn't want to have to buy a whole new game and a whole new season if they're close to wrapping things up. You know what I mean? I'd like to make sure I can play it for a little while. So I can either do
right.
that or wait for the next one or something like that. But I think it's something I would do. I'm enjoying the co-op projects. I think they're called co-op products. I'm enjoying all the ones. I haven't played much lately, but I have enjoyed the ones I played. Some of the hockey, some of the baseball. The 1976 has been fun.
Hmm.
In the ABA basketball, that was taking a long time. Not a lot of people on that, and some of the games take a long time. But I've been enjoying that as well. So,
Nice.
but yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll get in on a soccer one and play a game here or there, and give me a reason to play, on the table. So, but anyway,
Yeah.
so thanks to everybody in the chat. I want to thank Tebow for coming by and Marco for coming by as well. It was fun to get those guys on. Haven't had them on in a little bit, so we had a nice little chat with them about soccer. And Ryan, of course, for coming on here and
Yeah,
spending the whole time with me here
for
chatting
sure.
about that because you were one of the, like I say, the big inspirations for doing this. And you kept telling me, oh, the soccer's great. And you kept trying to show it to me and you were very patient, and now you get your own soccer game, which sadly I didn't get to sit in on in Connecticut. So I'm going to have to sit in on that. If not in May,
Yeah.
then sooner if
You can always hop
something.
on a Zoom call, or happy to show you how the pitch invasion game works.
Yes, pitch invasion for Ryan. I do want to check that out. And Marco's still kicking around. He says that's an interesting thought. In the same vein, cricket has evolved where they play a limited amount of overs, which basically means 5 innings instead of infinity. So I think he was talking about me playing a half. But
Right.
anyway, thanks for coming by, everyone. And yes, I played soccer before I played Here's the Pitch. I did. And yes, can't wait for more Dave Soccer. Yes, there will be some more Dave Soccer on the channel. That's for sure. Because I have more teams now. And I'll have more teams coming in pretty soon as well. And who knows, maybe I'll have to dig out that what's that soccer game I played there? Dice United. I have Dice United. Maybe I'll pull that out again and
It's
give
fun.
that another try. And this Dice United too. And I don't know what the difference between the two of them is. I don't know which one's better or if they're drastically different or if they're just a little different. But I do have Dice United. I did play one game with it, so maybe I'll dig it out and play it again.
Yeah.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible, but I did only play the one game. And I think it was a 1-0 or 2-0 game.
Okay.
But it still was fun. But the APA soccer again, I'm just the APA engine just works for me. I mean, a lot of engines work for me, but
Right.
the APA really kind of hits it. You know, I'm a numbers guy, so I like seeing the numbers, and it just kind of works for me. So
Yeah.
anyway, all righty. Want to thank everyone for coming by, and again, Marco and Tebow and Ryan as well. So. All righty,
Absolutely.
Ryan, stay tuned. We got some parting gifts for you. I'm only kidding, but don't sign off just yet. I'm going to kill the stream, but don't sign off. We'll wrap
Sure.
things up here. And again, thanks to everybody that tuned in here on this Sunday night for some soccer talk. Yes, hell has frozen over. Soccer, and we joked about the soccer talk, and it's here for all you conspiracy theorists. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.